Oh my God, what a treat today. Christina Rumbley is in my studio. I haven't seen her in person in a long time. And well, I've seen her in person. We haven't podcasted in person in a long time. We never miss a beat. We've been friends for how long now? I don't even know, 20 plus years. And every time I see her, it's like I just saw her. I love this friendship. And I have a few friendships like this, but this one is very special. So I'm so happy that she came in and was willing to share our friendship. We had such a good time. We talked about being an empty nester. We talked about her 5 new spas. She showed me some of her product line, which you've seen before, but you're going to see it again. And it's awesome. I've been using it forever and I love it. We talk about marriage. We talk about all kinds of shit. So there's so many slogan word lines in this whole thing that we're going to end up with a couple t-shirts out of this. I'm telling you. But I hope you enjoy our time together as much as I enjoyed our time together. Thank you for coming back every week. Thank you for all your emails. Thank you for your podcast suggestions. Thank you for checking out my podcast sponsors and shopping with them. You know, I worked so hard to get podcast sponsors. I'm so proud of them. And I use every sponsor I have. I really use them and I'm just super proud of them. So thank you for being supportive in that way. I know you get all this free content from all these different places. And the way that people keep it free is by supporting them through their sponsors. So if you have any inclination to shop any of my sponsors, I would appreciate it. Anyway, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for coming back every week. I really value everything I hear from you guys. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this episode with Christina Stratton, actually. I call you Rumbley, but it's Christina Stratton.
You can say hi.
She's coming to you.
You know I'm with my kitty cat.
She is the sweetest girl. She is so sweet.
Hi. See, I'm the podcast cat. Oh, yes, I love you. Can I sit in your lap, maybe?
Is this the locate me thing?
Okay, here's the story with this cat. We've already started, so make sure your mic's up.
Oh. Let me see you.
So, cheers.
Teach me. Cheers, baby.
Oh my God. I'm so glad to see you.
The Southern Coca-Cola girls.
I know. I don't drink Coca-Cola often, but today I was like, I got up at 5:30 this morning, and I was like, I don't need a little
I've been up since 3.
Oh my God, why?
Because I'm on the time change of East Coast meets West Coast.
Yeah.
Hold on. Fix my do.
So Shirley, here's the story with Shirley.
Give me Shirley. Hi, Shirley.
We were remodeling this house, and Shirley just showed up. Every day I came to the work site, and she just showed up. I was like, what's up? Hey, if you want to take a break and sit down, I'll sit in your lap. You know, whatever.
And that's uncommon for a potential stray, unless they're not a stray, but then they strayed away from wherever they were.
Well, she always had this flea collar on without the like locator thing.
Yeah.
She just had the flea collar. And I was like, well, she's clearly someone's cat. She's well fed.
Yeah.
She's well cared for. And she's just coming to say hi. No problem.
Yeah.
Kept coming. This was last April. This was a year ago. And she just would stay longer and longer. We moved in this house in July. And she went, oh, perfect. We're moving in. Okay, good.
Now I can
and
play
I was
Real
like,
House.
I don't know whose cat this is. But I'm not going to feed it. I'm not letting it in my house because I don't want someone to think I'm taking their cat.
Correct.
So I have a neighbor, my neighbor who's right next door now, used to live directly across the street. And she texted me one day and said, is there a calico cat in your yard? And I went, yeah, she's here every day. She sleeps here at night. She's here 24/7. And she went, that's my neighbor's cat. He's been looking for her. I was like, well, please tell him to come get her.
Yeah, because she won't leave us alone.
Anytime.
She wants my family.
Yeah, totally. And he never came.
Why?
And so I reached out to her again and I said, hey, once again, I'm not trying to take this guy's cat, but
I'm about
she's
to.
not leaving and I'm losing sleep because she's out at night. I'm like, she's going to get run over, run across the street.
Yeah.
A coyote's going to eat her.
Yeah.
So I said, please ask him one more time. Here's my phone number. Give him my phone number and tell him, please come get this cat. And he never did. So I in December, I said to Bert, I'm tired of losing sleep over this. I'm just going to get a litter box and put her in the garage at night.
There you go. And look, she's
She's so sweet.
She's soft. She purrs. I can feel her
She's so
purring right now.
sweet.
And she's not afraid of people.
Well, I call her Shirley. I think her real name is
Shirley.
Maya, but I called her
No,
Shirley
you don't
from
look
the
like
beginning.
Maya. She definitely looks like a Southern Shirley.
She's Cheryl the girl.
Of course she is.
She's Cheryl the girl.
Hi, Cheryl the girl.
I
We
call her
love
Cheryl the
kitty
girl.
cats.
She's so sweet.
Oh, I miss my cat.
I know. My
Oh.
kids love her too. So we
She's
go
just so
outside and sit with her.
sweet.
She's come in the house a couple times, and Gus our cat is like, oh, hell no.
Oh, yeah.
This
Like,
is my house.
you are there, and I don't see you. I don't want to smell you. I don't want to think that you have breath.
He ran her out twice.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
was
Gus
like,
is-
okay.
Gus is very particular, right? Gus is a little older.
He
Gus,
is.
Gus is.
I mean, he's 15.
That's
And
old.
so I was like, you know what? It's his space. And
Yeah.
when he passes
But
on,
this is.
cat everywhere.
She's like on the velvet blue. I got you. Hold on. Let me just put my little calico. Little drop my nuggets everywhere. Oh.
Well, she clearly was their pet because she walks right in this house and does this, makes herself completely at home.
Oh my god. And green eyes. Oh, you.
She's so pretty, Shirley. So how are you?
I'm good.
I'm so glad to see you.
I'm so glad to see you. I thought it was funny. When I knew I was going to be coming here to see you, I was like, what are we going to talk about? I'm like, what are we going to talk about? Oh my gosh, we have so much just in general. And I thought, where do you begin? Like, what?
Where do you begin?
I don't know.
I know where we begin.
Where do we begin?
Because I already thought about it. Too. Since it is my podcast, I should have a little plan.
Well, Avery asked me about this. She goes, do you come with like questions and this? I go, no, we just let it rip. Leanne
Has
will
she
have a
never
few things-
listened to
She-
us talk?
mm-mm. No, which is actually good.
She should. Well,
I
maybe.
prefer her.
Yeah, maybe not.
I told her, I said, I let my hair down completely. None of your friends are going to listen to it. So we're good.
Yeah,
Doug
right.
won't even listen because he knows. I said, I'll probably divulge too much about you.
Yeah.
And you're so private.
Yeah.
God forbid I even say happy birthday to you on Facebook because you're not on Facebook. So whatever. He doesn't even like that I tell people, oh, I'm going to this and this. He's like, why do you have to tell everyone everything? I said, because I have no friends except the ones that are further away. And those are the ones that I'm communicating to. He goes, why don't you just text them? I'm like, don't work like that. Antisocial. It doesn't work like that.
No, I think highly social people and anti or not so social people really do not understand each other.
No.
I had a come to Jesus moment about Bert a long time ago when we first started hanging out with this parent group here when we moved to this neighborhood. He wanted to be with them every day. So we have such a great group. It's the campers. We're such
Oh,
a
yeah.
great group of friends every day.
Every day.
Like
he doesn't
Thursday,
get sick
Friday,
of them.
Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday. Never. And there's
And they're
people.
going, "Ah."
There's one person in each couple that's exactly like him.
So they're
And
like down.
They're like, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. And then there's one person in every couple that's like, aren't you guys exhausted?
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
I'm exhausted.
I can only be on so long. Like, why are you on? Like, no. And Bert is, see, Bert and I have a lot in common.
You do. Yeah.
Yeah. And you and Doug, you have you're not like Doug in that way, but you definitely like your Q time. You like little
Yes.
private time, downtime. You probably re-energize by yourself.
I do. Yes.
Yep. Avery does too. And Doug does too. And then there's me,
Yeah.
the
yeah.
odd man out, who's literally like the lonesome dove in the family. And I'm like, do I just need to go talk to strangers at a grocery store? What do I need to
Yeah.
do?
Yeah. That's the way Bert is. And you know, Georgia's that way.
Is she?
Yes. She recharges her battery with people.
Interesting.
I go, I'm just going to curl up in the bed and watch Pride and Prejudice for the 8,000th time because I don't have to think about it. And I
Yeah.
can just zone out and just not even deal with anything.
You know what you call that?
What?
I call, okay, so it's
Depression?
anxiety, depression,
No.
suicidal thoughts.
No, it's not. I'm
No,
not
but I
depressed.
understand. Like, but the weird thing about me is that as much as an extrovert I am, as much as I seek others and it recharges me, is I call it my numb and dumb time.
Oh, okay.
Numb and dumb. I want to
Heck
be
yeah.
numb and dumb. And I watch Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah.
And Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
more bullshit that they can drudge up, the better. My husband's just like, this is awful. And I go, he'll actually go, this is depressing. And I'm like, you can just shut your eyes and go to sleep because I'm going to finish this episode.
I might even do 2 more.
And I'll even sometimes look at him and be like this, I fall asleep because I'm going to keep on because I'm a total binge watcher.
Totally.
I will go to 3, 4 in the morning. And that is not me because I'll start nodding off. But like I watched Breaking Bad years after it came out, everyone talked about it. I was like, yeah, I got into it and I tried one episode with Doug, and I swear to God, we can't watch episodics because he won't. And I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait for you to have the energy to want to watch it. I'm I'm moving on to the next episode. You're not? I'm out.
Right.
I can't. This it isn't our book club. Not going to happen. You're going to fall asleep. Then you're going to be like, what happened? Then we'll spend the whole time while we're watching the next episode being like, well, what happened? I'm like, oh, no, we're not going to divulge and discuss and disintegrate. No, I'm going to watch this and you're getting out. But that's what we do. Like I will veg and be numb and dumb.
I like numb and dumb.
I love it. That is my go-to. That and a 10-minute hot bath. Those are my, what do you do to recharge and self-care? Yeah, there you go. Numb and dumb, 10-minute hot bath.
But numb and dumb is such a great, because you spend and I spend all day, every day, the opposite of that. I have to use my brain. Bert just FaceTimed me, who's snow skiing in Breckenridge right now because it's his day off, whatever. Really? And I'm like, I'm scratching Mona with one hand because she barks constantly because she's also 15, deaf, blind in one eye, and just wants to know where I am at all times.
A little separation anxiety.
Scratching Mona while I'm replying to emails, while I'm like, approving merchandise for this upcoming fully loaded tour. And Bert calls me and he was like, you look busy. And I go, oh yeah, I'm super busy. Really busy. I'm about to walk into a podcast with you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so my brain is constantly all day doing something.
Buzzing.
And I'm never numb. I'm always present.
Of course.
And you have to be present to be good at what you do. You can't unplug. Yeah. And so I just freaking love numb and dumb. I'm going to make a t-shirt that says numb and dumb.
Numb and dumb all day long.
Love it.
It is. It's like, how do I spring break myself?
I love it.
Without the alcohol.
Sometimes. You were the soundbite of the century. How do I spring break myself? Tell me. Do I have to wear a bikini for it to qualify?
Nope. No. You can be dressed, not dressed. You can wear your granny panties. Nobody cares because you're numb and dumb. And spring break, this is prior to show us your taters.
Yes.
It's not Mardi Gras time. It's literally time to feel fat, ugly, bust out the Ritz crackers if you want to put peanut butter and jelly on them, which is phenomenal, or Cheese Whiz. I don't care. Whatever side of the country you're from, Cheese Whiz is what we used to do.
Yeah, me too.
On the Ritz.
Oh, yeah.
Or we get crazy because the mom would buy peanut butter and jelly separate, of course. You never get the combo blend one. And you would just peanut butter and jelly that bad boy up. That's what I did when I lived in a hotel when I was younger. You know, because when I say that, it almost sounds like, a Four Seasons. No, a Holiday Inn on Orange Blossom Trail in Orlando, Florida, where the hookers and the pimps would kind of fight over where they were going to station themselves on the
stomping
road.
Ground. They'd fight over stomping ground.
Oh. Yeah, and I would be standing out there in first grade with my little, patrol. I was a bus patrol, of course I was, where I got to stand up. Love standing up on the bus, and you'd hit the railroad tracks, and we get to go. Shut up! The lights are on. And I would go, they're like, railroad crossing's coming. And I'd be like, oh God, yes, the railroad crossing's coming. Railroad crossing coming. And they would be like, okay, shh, shh. And we'd go, shh, because you had to be quiet when you cross the railroad on the school bus to listen for the train.
So you could then scream?
So then we all were going to die? Like, what was it? I don't understand what they're talking. But I swear to God, it was the best moments of my life because I didn't really yell a lot as a kid, except at my brother, who's older than me. But something about when those lights are on, shut up. Oh my God, it was the best feeling in the world. And then kids, of course, I was so young getting to be a safety patrol. And I remember thinking like, I'm the shit. It's the closest to a badge I ever got.
Right.
Where I could like have my authority and be like, lights are on. And we'd be like,
sit down, everybody down.
Shut up, sit down. They're like, you're 7.
Now let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Using my home, my family as an example, I have a Bert and I have a Leanne. They're not pure Bert and pure Leanne, but Georgia is pretty much Bert.
Yeah.
And Isla's pretty much Leanne. There's certain things that are not. Obviously,
you got hybrids.
People.
Yeah,
and
of course. Yeah, blah, blah. But we know, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I watch Isla move through a lot of her life, and I go, that is completely me.
Right.
And then I watch Georgia move through a lot of her life and go, that is completely your dad.
Yep.
What do you think it would have been like if you had had another child and it was you? Have you ever thought about that?
I have. I thought about it a lot when we decided not to have. When I came to terms at 37, because we've been trying for 5 years to have another kid. And I remember, man, when I said to Doug, I'm done. 5 years of every month ovulation test kit. I thought I was pregnant several times, and then I would start my period. And then the roller coaster ride of that, I never was willing to go on any medication for it. And that's because I didn't want to have octuplets.
Yeah,
I'm not a hot octo mom. I'm not.
Yeah, again, soundbite of the century. I'm not a hot octomom.
Royalties Rumbley. No, I swear to God, I remember seeing that octomom and I was like, that's disgusting. Like, listen, to all the moms out there that had multiples and triplets, quadruplets and all that, sextuplets, and I don't even know where you get up to, but I just know I went, that will be my luck. We just want to have a little boy or a little girl. We just want one. My I don't have a step. I'm still married to Doug. My married in-law. Thank you. My husband, Doug's brother, is older than him. They had 3 children. Okay. One of them was a twin in utero and they lost the twin in utero. Doug's mother was a twin.
Oh,
when
wow.
She was alive. She was a twin. My father is a twin.
Oh my God. It's all over the place.
His brother, wife, is a twin. They had twins. One died in utero. So they were like, we want a girl. They had 3 boys and she wanted a girl so bad. Well, she got her girl all right.
She did.
She got triplets. Yeah. And they're Avery's age.
Oh my gosh.
So imagine we have Avery, they have triplets. So they get 2 girls and 1 boy. So they've got a compound of family children. They could literally have their own army. They can go underground, be bunkers and plant and eat their own food. Like, it's crazy. And I was like, I told Doug, I'm like, you see that? That's a no. That's a hard line no in the sand. You need to leave me for that. Not happening.
All right.
I don't have the patience. I mean, I barely had patience for one.
Yeah.
Sitting in the car, listening to Avery. If she started going, nuts and I'm on a call, I just would be like, how am I going to kill her? How do I kill her and get away with it? It sounds awful.
Do I have a ball gag maybe somewhere in the
what
glove compartment?
Type of thing can I shove in her mouth that won't kill her, but maim her a little bit so she doesn't do it again. But I constantly felt like if we did have kids, I was like, we're going to get twins. And then I had a psychic tell me we were going to have twins. And I'm just like, ugh. And Doug was, he never even thought about it. But I was like, my life in that moment was like, my life would be over. It'd be over. I don't know how I would do what I'm doing now or did. And so I think when I hit 37, we were done. We had tried 5 years and I was like, clearly something's awry. And I was like, and God doesn't give you more than you can handle. Clearly God is saying to us, I think you got enough. I think you got nothing you can handle.
Yeah.
I was always sad that we didn't have another kid. And Avery used to talk about wishing that she had had a sibling. And then later on she had said, well, not really, because I don't know what you're going to get.
Right.
You could get a problem. You could get, she liked the idea of having another sibling. So it kind of took the attention off her.
Right.
And I was like, me too. Because it's always about you. Like it can never be about anybody but you.
Yeah.
And I went through, I don't remember when this was, Avery, and I don't feel like I'm divulging too much about her because she's open with it, but Avery has said she's bisexual and I sit on the world of that fence and go, but you've never even been in a relationship.
Yeah.
You've never had someone call you.
Right.
To say, do you want to go to a movie?
Yeah.
You've never held someone's hand before. And I told you guys that I told her, well, when rubber meets the road, you'll know.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember talking to her because all of her friends, no one's straight. Everyone's a they, them, and that's it's very now as well. And I told her, I said, listen, when we were younger, if someone was bisexual, it was, the girls typically were bisexual because they thought it was cute to say because the guy liked that.
Yeah.
But they were usually in relationships at that time. And it was not about attraction. It was usually about sex or about looking hotter. Like that was kind of what I grew up thinking that's what that was. In college, everyone was like, I mean, what does it really matter? You're like, it depends how much tequila shot you're doing.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's like, but I do, I told her, I just said, And a lot of kids with Asperger's or ASD on the spectrum, she said, are either gay or bisexual or asexual because they can't read if someone's likes them or not, right?
Cues,
So everybody is like, are they flirting?
Yeah.
And so I say that because when she was saying how she didn't, if you get a sibling, you don't know what you're going to get. And I had a moment, I think a year and a half ago, where I just had a ball fest. I just cried. I cried one night. Oh yeah.
How
I cried.
come?
I cried to Doug. Avery and I had gotten into it. She was 16 at the time and got into a big argument. And I remember crying to him saying, I need to be able to feel permission to grieve the fact that I don't have, quote unquote, a normal kid. And
typical,
whatever that means.
Uh-huh.
And to me, what that meant was I'll never have the kid that says, hey, mom, God, so this guy or girl, I don't give a shit. To me, be happy. I don't care.
Totally.
You know what I mean? But I'll never have that experience where she's like, at least not high school, because she's almost done here in a month and a half, and it's never happened, where she was just like, God, this guy is bugging me. Oh, hey, we're going to go to the football game. I just don't, none of that. I've had none of that.
Oh, I've had none of that either.
It's hard.
And I don't have a kid that's on the spectrum.
Right.
I have two normal kids, as you say, quote unquote.
Yeah, quote unquote, right?
One is a learning disability,
for that, but
nobody,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but nobody knows
they're
that they have a disability,
but they're not on the spectrum,
right?
And I have zero information about anybody's attraction, love life, zero.
They don't talk about it.
No,
and it's almost because it isn't really there.
I think so. Yeah. And I think, to be honest with you too, one of my kids doesn't usually come up and go, can I have a hug?
Yeah.
So, I wonder if that's a piece too, that you'll never have, quote, have that.
I don't.
But I don't really have that.
And I cried
either.
about that too. I mean,
you have every right to mourn that.
Oh, and what it is and there's no one for me to talk to about it to that degree, right?
Yeah.
I can talk to you about it because you know me, you know my heart.
Yeah, of course.
You know the impetus behind something. Like you don't judge.
I do not.
Who am I going to? You imagine me saying this to a group of people that don't really know me that well? I'll be like, God, sometimes I just wish I had a
and
normal
that's
kid.
a shame, because I have to tell you something. I think my opinion is that's part of what's wrong with our world today is that there's no space to have the negative feelings.
Right.
There's no space for you to go, I have a newborn baby. She's beautiful. And this fucking sucks ass.
Correct.
So big.
Yeah.
I can't even wrap my head around it. Help me.
Right.
Somebody give me a rope.
Yep.
You can't say that.
No, the only place you find it now is because they didn't have it when you and I had kids, is Instagram. And it's like the person that's like, I just need to vent. And they go on the camera and they're like, and I'm thinking, but you're not really talking to anyone.
No, you're not. And you don't get any feedback, because what
and then you edit it
in
to make
some
sure
of those
your filters look good and your face looks all right.
But what you need is for someone to validate you, to say, you have every right to feel that way.
Right. And it's okay.
And it's okay. And it's not your only feelings.
Correct.
That's the thing, is you can
it doesn't
say
end there.
No.
Right.
You can say in this moment, I hate my husband.
Yeah.
I freaking hate him.
Right.
He is an asshole because
Tomorrow
of
I may
A,
love
B,
him.
C, D, E.
Correct.
And then you just need to get some shit off your chest. I know you don't, I don't hate my husband.
Of course.
But you gotta have the freedom to say that. And I think the way cancel culture works now is even worse.
It is. It's scary. It's where do you
there's no safe place.
How do you vent and not feel like someone's going to bring it back up to you?
Yeah, totally.
And throw it back in your face, or be talking to you and with one eye open, one eye closed, and they're like, oh my God, what a bitch. And like some people have made comments, because when you and I have gone on a podcast before together, and I've been very candid about Avery and being on the spectrum and what that feels like and the things we've gone through, and how it just, you just want to strangle her sometimes about some stuff, because I don't have the patience.
Mm-hmm.
It has gotten better. I will say that, which has been wonderful. Our relationship is getting better, because I told her the other day, spring break, she kind of became a poopy pants on spring break. I don't know why. My mom was there. My stepdad was there. And it's our last hurrah. It's the last spring break.
Yeah.
Because we ain't going to be doing this when she's in college. I don't even recall going to spring break with my parents ever. But
No,
we do
me
every year.
neither,
We
no.
go to the beach. I bring my mom in. I, splurge. I go in this house. We go to Destin or somewhere near there. And this was the last one. And it was kind of cold out, but we went. And Avery, on the drive down, I even said to her, I was like, I'm enjoying you a lot more. I'm enjoying because she's not taking things as serious. We're not talking politics. Thank fucking God.
Yeah.
Because that would just but it's weird. She got around my mom and my stepdad, Aldo, and she became like a moody, broody teenager again. And she was staying down in the room. And I'm like, hey, do you want to go out? And she just was kind of poopy pants. And I called her out on it. She can't see it. That's the hardest part. She was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, just that. Just going, what are you talking about? And inside, I'm like, you know what? Don't go to dinner with us. Please go downstairs. Stay down there in your little manhole. I don't care. But beyond that, we have been kind of, we have a place that her and I will go to. It's called Murasaki. And Avery's trying food now.
Oh, good.
17. She is finally, and she loves Japanese culture because Japanese anime, and she's learning some Japanese, and
That's
she loves
amazing.
it. Yeah. And I told her, I'm like, this is awesome. And so she's trying food, and I joke, I'm like, well, I don't eat sushi. I can go to a sushi restaurant, but I'll eat tempura. I'll eat teriyaki chicken. I'm the white trash girl in the Japanese.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that's us. And we go, and now I go every day. I'll get like sweet potato roll.
Yeah, right.
Living crazy.
You just on the wild side.
Ooh,
Sweet
you're eating the
potato
scary
roll.
stuff. It can
I
kill
never
you,
even
right?
heard of a sweet potato roll.
Oh, it's so
that must
good.
be
Add a little
East
cream
Coast
cheese.
thing.
I mean, just go add, candy corn? What are we going to throw in this thing? Start shoving like pieces of like cotton candy, little candy corn. This is sweet potato roll. This is called white trash. But we go and she likes that, or we'll get a shrimp tempura roll. And it's just, we finally are she is maturing to a degree. We still go toe to toe when it comes to shit. Like she'll do her dish in the sink. She doesn't do anyone else's. And I just, I keep giving her, I'll keep saying, I preface it with, this is a life lesson. Get ready to be bored.
Yeah, right.
But I'm going to tell you, if I'm your roommate and you do your dish, I'm going to think you're a selfish little fuck.
Yeah.
I'm going to think that, God. Or if you come back with your groceries and you didn't bother to check with me, there's a level of companionship.
Yeah.
And she's an only child. And that's the thing about not having a second child, to bring that back. She never learned to share. She never learned what it's like to have to split your chores.
Yeah.
It barely does a chore anyways. I mean, it's bad when your daughter says, when she's like 13, why do I need to do that? Sarah, our housekeeper, is going to do it. Oh, I have failed you miserably. I remember making her starting to do her own laundry at 8 because I had to do that.
Yeah, I did too.
But like cooking, my husband and I are like, we'll just do it because, I don't trust it. She put a pizza with the cardboard in it once.
Oh my God.
On the bottom. And she burnt that one time. And then she put a black, very large plastic cutting board.
Oh no.
She put the pizza on the cutting board and put the cutting board and the pizza in the thing, and it just became a gooey, black smoke fuck. It was the worst. Doug was like, oh my God. And he's like, she's mentally incapable of living. She's going home. What are we going to do with her?
She'll figure it out.
Well, after that and burning it down, we were like, okay, all right, this is plastic. And that's when I remember saying to her, Leanne, I said, you don't put silverware in the microwave, right?
Because it will explode.
And she was like, what? And I went, oh my God. It's an unspoken. What?
It's an unspoken.
But it's not. Does it say it on there? Not microwave. Is she going to read that? Does she even know what that symbol looks like? No.
That's so funny.
So, yeah.
Today's podcast is sponsored by Warby Parker. I am so excited about this sponsor because I wear glasses. I have an astigmatism. And I have the hardest time finding glasses. I always am in the store and I try on like 8 pairs and I can never decide. And it's too much pressure because you have to figure it out right then. They cost $1 million. And if you don't like them, they've cost $1 million. So you kind of have $1 million glasses that you may or may not like. Warby Parker, if you go to their website, you can take a quiz, an online quiz, where you can find out what glasses fit you, fit your shape of your face, the size of your nose, kind of what's going to look good on you and be most comfortable. So I did the quiz and I got my box. I actually got my box right before this read. So I have barely looked at them. I have not even tried them on. I can't wait to try them on because I love glasses. I feel like they're such a cool way to accessorize what you're wearing. So I can't wait to see this. You ready? I'm going to open the box. Oh my God. Okay, I have these. I've always wanted a pair of clear glasses. What do you think? I kind of like them. Those are nice and they do look good with my face. I have a tiny little face. So when I go to buy eyeglasses, I look like kids' eyeglasses fit me, but these fit great. How are these? Look good? Oh, I like these a lot. These are awesome. Okay. Now I'm very into tortoiseshell, I have to say. I didn't so they're all going to be kind of tortoiseshell but all different shape, but I'm a very tortoiseshell guy. Yes? Again, yes. Oh, those are great. These remind me of like cool glasses from when I was in college. What do you think? They're all good. Can you get all 5? I mean, I don't know that I need 5 pairs of glasses, but okay. And then these have blue in them. I kind of like that because it has a little color. What do you think? No, I don't think the color works for me. Do you see how this works? I got 5 pair of glasses. I like 4. You can try 5 pairs of glasses at home for free at warbyparker.com/wife. That's 5 pairs of glasses using my 5 pairs of glasses at home for free at warbyparker.com/wife. Warby Parker's committed to providing exceptional vision care online and in stores. They offer eyeglasses, sunglasses, eye exams, and contact lenses. Glasses start at $95, including prescription lenses. Try Warby Parker's free home try-on program. Order 5 pairs of glasses to try at home for free for 5 days. There's no obligation to buy. They ship for free, and it includes a prepaid return shipping label. So you really have nothing to lose. The quiz was awesome. The quiz actually helped me figure out my face in a very specific way. The quiz was easy. It took me maybe 5 minutes. And, I put the choices in a basket and processed my cart and they showed up. Can't be any easier. So again, try 5 pairs of glasses at home for free at warbyparker.com/wife.
If we had another kid, I think that, who knows? It would have been awesome. Avery kind of got into musical theater and music. She did like that. She could sing really well, but really wasn't interested in it. She's more like Doug.
Yeah.
But Doug and her go toe to toe. Let her say anything political or let her say something that, we got up in her ass one 4th of July because she made a comment on Instagram about, sorry.
No, cat hair.
Black.
Shirley,
Black.
Shirley's shedding.
Excuse me.
Shirley's shedding. She's shedding.
Shirley, she's shedding. I got you. No, but she said something and she said something. And my brother's a former Green Beret. My other brother serves in the Air Force. My dad was a Vietnam vet, Marine, and a chief of police. Like, if you want to go toe to toe with me, make a comment about our military, right, or police officers where we can't have a dialogue where someone's just this is what it is.
Yeah.
And she made a comment.
Especially someone who's a teenager who really has no perspective of.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, no, here's what's happening.
If you don't like her, you can put her
No,
off.
I love her. Shirley's like this. I know you said you're wearing black. You know that I'm a cat. I don't see color. So, and I'm not racist.
But
right,
I hear
Kat?
black and white go together very nicely.
They do. Oh, I'm shopping. Oh,
she's the sweetest cat. I swear to God. You're stealing the show, Cheryl.
When her ears are so warm.
Well, I wonder in asking that question because what's interesting in parenting my 2 kids is that I understand and can parent Georgia so easily.
Yeah.
And
because she's not like you?
Because she's not like me.
Interesting.
But Isla and I, until probably maybe a year ago, have struggled through our entire time together.
Why do you think that is?
With parenting, I think because we are both the same bullheaded. We are both so very sure of our point of view that I have been accused of being immovable and rigid.
Really?
Sometimes.
Depends on what, right?
It depends
Is there
on
something
what
you
it
fall
is.
on your sword about?
Yes.
Yeah,
There's some things where I'm like, nope.
Yep.
And
You got to stand for some, or
especially,
you fall for everything.
that's the truth. But when you're parenting someone where you go, no, you actually do have to wear shoes in the snow, period.
Yeah.
And she's going to die on that sword.
And be like,
I'm
no,
not.
I don't. I don't have to.
Frostbite doesn't happen to me. I'm
The
superhuman.
people that lived with Neanderthals, see, my daughter would go into a dissertation about how they don't.
No, she's not that kind of thinker.
No.
She's like, well, I'm just not doing it. And then you're like,
well, now you're at a crossroads.
Now you are.
Now you can't go outside. Like, you're going to keep me from going outside. You're like, all week.
No, you go outside, fine.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
and she would stand her ground.
She would. And then Georgia, I'd be like, you got to wear shoes outside. And she'd go, why? And I'd say, well, it'll cause you to have frostbite. And she'll go, okay.
Right.
Like everything.
But Bert's like that, right? I mean,
No, sort of, yes.
He's stubborn too, though.
He changed a lot in the course of this marriage. In the beginning of our marriage, he listened and was a lot more kind of, I don't know, open to suggestion.
So he's gotten worse? Is that what you're going to tell me?
No, what happened was when he was working for a certain entity where he did a lot of life-threatening, dangerous things, he developed PTSD for real, like diagnosed PTSD.
Absolutely.
So the after effect of that is that he kind of has to be in control of everything. Yeah. So it's kind of a side effect of it. So, and he wasn't really so much like that before. So, so I think he's kind of developed into this. I don't know that he's rigid, but if he feels like he's not in control or if his feelings aren't cared for, if he's in an emotional moment, he can't hear anything else. But you know what? Let him calm down and he can hear everything.
Sure.
So it's this weird kind of I'm so sorry. I have a lint roller.
Oh, I'm good. Before we go to dinner, I'll fix it. Look.
Right. Totally.
But all I want to say is I'm the cat whisperer. Just saying.
Totally.
Aren't I, Shirley?
Oh, Cheryl the girl. Yeah, so I don't know. With Bert, I sometimes have to let him go to the moon.
Yeah.
And just let it be whatever it is and address the reality of what's happening.
Yeah.
Like the next day, like when he's had a deep breath. Neither of my kids are like that.
See, you and I would have been a great couple.
We would have. Yes, we would have been a great couple.
I mean, it is 2022.
Doug and I would have just eventually moved into separate bedrooms and said, like, peace out. I'll see you at breakfast.
Yep. Yep.
It's so true.
You're like, well, actually, I won't be here for breakfast. Not a problem. I just eat my Wheaties and I'm good.
You let me know when you're coming back.
And Bert and I would have killed each other.
You would have, yes.
Totally.
I know.
Because it would have been like, who's going to get the spotlight now?
Exactly. That and it's, Bert's like, no, my needs first. No, my needs first.
Yeah.
No, my needs first. And I'm like, that's cool as long as my needs are second. Like they need to show up somewhere.
You've been so great at that, Leanne, though. Doug and I talked about this. You have been, and this is why it works, at least from outsider perspective, because I'm not in your marriage. Obviously, no one is, but the two of you. But you are the perfect wing woman. Well, you do. You pedestal him up, but you make sure he stays in check, knowing where his heart lays, and that he and there's something about the dynamic. He trusts you with every fiber in his being because he knows that you would never steer him wrong, do anything that would cause him pain. Do you know? I feel, knowing you all as long as I have, I just feel that it's just innate, and you're like that as a friend. I just think that you allow people that need to shine, and you pedestal them, you uphold them as long as they hold their end of the bargain of being steadfast, loyal, and someone if you needed them, they'd be there like that.
Well, I think the key is this: I don't need to be on the pedestal, but I do need to be seen by that person that I love.
Of course,
I need you, my friend, to know who I am and understand me.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that I need 50% of the airtime when we're together. I don't really care about that.
Mm-mm.
I just need to know that you see who I am and you honor that person.
That's right.
So I'm almost never, well, maybe that's not true. Sometimes I am the alpha, I guess, in a friendship, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I definitely don't need it.
Yeah.
I'm not somebody I'm fine being beta, zeta, theta, whatever.
Yeah. Just let it be real.
Just let it be authentic.
Yeah.
And let me be authentic.
Yeah.
And if I don't feel like going with your friends of 18 people tonight,
Right.
then
I'm not
hear
gonna
me
go.
out and help me with
Yeah.
that, and we'll move on. And
Yeah. Don't make me, that's the thing. Like Doug, I had to learn really quickly with Doug. See, Doug is different in that, like you had said, for Georgia, it was easier for you because she almost similar to Bert, who is different than Georgia, obviously, but they have those similarities.
Yeah.
But you've always been able to kind of talk Bert off the ledge.
Yes, always.
Get him to see things through a different perspective when his window is open.
Yes.
Doug is your breath is like a large tuna fish butthole.
Oh, Shirley.
Shirley, it's a big tuna fish butthole.
Oh, sorry.
It's like a fish hatchery hanging out right
I
here.
might eat some natural organic
It's like
things.
a tilapia
Oh,
mixed
geez.
with some cod liver oil.
I can't believe she's sitting there with you so long. And so you're the first guest you sat with.
She's a therapy cat. You know that, right?
yeah,
She's a
yes.
safe zone. But Doug is extremely stubborn, and it's only been the past 3 years that I've been able to penetrate the stubborn bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm lighter fluid. I have to be heard. I'm a little like Bert with that. I have to be heard. I don't have to be right because I'm okay being wrong, but you're going to hear what I have to say.
Yeah.
And Doug is we call it, he's the guy who would come up to you and he'll slit your throat with his words.
Yeah.
His words will literally annihilate you, but he'll slit your throat and then he runs. Me, I'll come right up to you. I'll show you the knife. I'll let you know this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to slit your throat and then I'm going to watch you bleed. I mean, it's just
right.
And then when we're done, I'll probably say a little grace for you and then I'm out. He's a blah, runs and then he's fine. And then he's like monkey later. And I'm like, get your fucking hand away from my body. I don't want to smell you. I don't even want to see you because I've just gone to 15,000 scenarios and I'm chalking them up in a big bucket of, oh, and you did this. Oh, and you did that. I mean, I'm like, that's why if I'm in an argument, we need to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
Because he can go to sleep and not a single word. He literally out, not even thinking about it. And I'm like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I cannot rest. Is Bert like that too?
Yeah. He cannot rest.
Can't.
I can go to sleep.
Oh.
If I feel like, okay, we've reached a resolution, I'm out. And he'll just ruminate.
That's me.
Even though we've already decided this is done.
Yep.
Well, if we'd agreed that this is done,
that means he's not really
then
done.
we're done.
Nope.
But I'm done.
That means he acquiesced.
Then you're lying to me.
Yeah.
Then you shouldn't have said you were done.
Or he's being mature and trying to meet in the middle, but it's harder for him to get there, but he's trying to do that.
Yeah.
I would see that. We don't get to meet in the middle. It just ends. He's just, the best is when.
Sorry.
It's a new trend we're doing. It's called Sweater Weather Kitty Cat Shirley.
Cheryl.
But no, I've noticed that with Doug. He's gotten better, but boy, he's a daggerer. He'll say things that, I remember one time we got in a fight once a long time ago. He said something like, God, just shut the fuck up. And I looked at him and I remember going, and I paused and I looked at him and I just said, I've put my hands on someone in my life who talked to me like that.
Yeah.
I won't do that to you. I will never raise my hand. That was a young, immature person that did that. But I have a side of me that is it's almost like how dare you? Like no one puts baby in a corner. Like,
yeah, right.
Nobody talks to me like that. Like,
right.
and my first response is to literally lighter fluid. Like I start stoking it because I just want to go, who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
Now, how do you get that out of your body? It's so funny you say that because I just talked to my trainer about this morning. I worked out real early this morning. And 2 days ago, he flushed my shoulder. I have this old shoulder injury.
Oh, so he pushed it. He pushed.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
it was
roughing.
Like, he pretty much roughed it under my shoulder blade. And then today when I said my shoulder, I didn't even know my shoulder was tight until you did that. Yeah. And I feel like I could like do anything now. I feel so loose. And he was like, well, girl, you're a fighter. And what fighters do, because your instinct is to hit somebody, throw something, really take it to the limit.
Sure.
Like, just we want to throw down, we're going to throw fucking down.
That's right. That's right.
But you can't
throw
do
hands.
that.
No.
Yes.
No.
That's what he said, that exact
hands.
term. You're
Yeah.
going to throw hands.
Yeah.
But you can't do that.
Of course not. You lose everything.
So what you do is you put it all underneath your shoulder blade.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, he's almost going to tuck it right under that
You're
shoulder
like,
blade.
it's funny. Not my left. Just my right. Really?
No, it's just my left shoulder blade. So I'm going to take it right under there. And we'll get back to you.
Yeah. I won't know it's there.
There's like another one right under there. Okay, we're gonna shove it from underneath, from the bottom, and now we're gonna shove it up through the collarbone, but still under the shoulder blade.
Absolutely.
He was like, that's what happens when people are natural fighters.
Yeah.
Some people are wired to throw hands.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's how you're wired.
I think it's how you're born too. I think it's what it's nature nurture. You know, my mom was scrappy. I was young and watched her get into physical altercation with her first husband. They had too many drinks, and you know, I remember, and my mom was a throw hands woman towards me. Mm-hmm. You know, I grew up in a pretty. She loves when I talk about this. Sorry, Mom, but it's the truth. But she's very volatile. Yeah. My brother was a fighter. Yeah. Bad. I mean, my brother being 5'7" on a good day, 5'8" if he pushes it. With his
combat boots.
Yeah. But he's a mean motherfucker. To this day. I mean, my brother used to look for the biggest guy in the bar. And I mean, he was like doing Mike Tyson stuff, like biting an ear off at a bar. And like, I'm surprised my brother is not in jail. He's brilliant. He's a great leader, a great CEO, but he's an asshole. Like and he's military. So people love that as CEOs. They're like, yeah, because they know hierarchy. They know how to deliver things and get things done.
Yeah.
They've understood fight or flight. But for me, I grew up with that brother when he would live with us randomly. And it was very tumultuous. You know, my mom was married 3 times. My dad was married 3 times. And we moved around every year to a new place. And I just had to morph my personality to be in an environment. My brother went the opposite. He went into, what are you fucking looking at? Yeah. That's how he went. And I went, what are you looking at?
Yeah, right.
I did that.
And you're a girl.
And then, but the other side of me is I'm not a Gemini, but it's almost like I am, where if someone says something or does something about someone I love or care about, I mean, I'll throw hands. If, when I was younger, if someone looked at me in a way that felt, because I feel like I'm an empath and I'm intuitive and I can smell the nonverbal cue coming off people.
Yeah.
It's got a color around it. You know, it's like a shitty green. It's just oozing out of them. Like, you know, in the cartoons when the Pepe Le Pew, the stink was like this green, muted, gross vomit color. That's what I can see off people when they're looking at you, or they misconstrue what you say and they get the I smelled shit face. Like, So I just remember I would... I remember so many occasions where, like in 6th grade, I remember this boy came up to me, and I had moved around a lot, and you know, I wore makeup when I probably shouldn't have been wearing too much makeup, because back then, if you wore too much makeup, they would tell you look like a whore.
Right.
Who's they? The kids in class, I guess, or whatever. This boy, Daryl, I'll never forget, came up and asked me, in the middle of lunch line in front of everybody, he said, hey.
In the middle of lunch line.
Because, you know, that's where everyone's like, ooh.
Right.
With our lunch boxes. Mine was strawberry shortcake. Of course. But I would say, you know, this guy came up to me and we're in the lunch line. He said, hey, Christy, because I wasn't Christina. I was Christina when I got older, because that's my real name. But Christy was what I was called my whole life. And I'd say Christ with a Y. So that's how you spell it. People are like, how do you spell it? Christ with a Y. Very angelic that I am not. So I remember him saying, hey, do you want to go out with me? Because that's how they talked about it. And I said, he was cute. And I went, I guess, sure. Then 10 minutes later, he came back up to me in front of everybody and said, now that we're going out, I'm breaking up with you. Okay. Now, I look back at this and go, what a dumbass, right? In that moment,
yeah,
I was known in school when I was younger, specifically, and then in high school, that I could annihilate someone verbally.
Oh, really?
Verbally. I could literally just tear you in half.
Oh boy.
And it was my mom. My mom was really good at just skewer you vocally.
Yeah.
And I turn around immediately, and it's all about it's the snap, crackle, pop.
Yeah.
I think it's what also made me like comedy, because it was like let someone come after me.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think I turned around and said something like, hey, Daryl, you have a small dick. I'm 12.
As you're opening your strawberry shortcake lunchbox.
Oh, cool, Daryl, you got a small dick. Now everyone, she said dick. But I didn't. And I remember I loved the feeling, the rush of everybody laughing.
Yeah.
It was probably when I started really realizing that I was funny, is that when someone would bag on me and I would just turn around, just pop, pop, pop. I would pop off. But I had to be prepared to throw hands because I had such a smart ass comeback that, I got called to the mat one time, and this was all like when I was younger. I got called to the mat one time in high school where I was like, let's go. Because this girl she was really hoity-toity, bitchy. But I just learned how to kind of, it's not something I'm proud of in a way, because it's a way to be really mean.
Yeah.
Really mean, where it's like, this bubble, you don't penetrate it.
Yeah.
Funny enough, with my husband, he penetrates that bubble where it's like, I'm more hurt. Like when Doug, because to him, you could say anything to him. Words. You couldn't say a thing to him. I can't say anything that would eviscerate him. Nothing. He would be like this. Stupid. Doesn't stick. Oh, it makes me crazy.
He just doesn't take anything personally, probably.
Not words.
Yeah, no.
Physical actions, if I ignored him, he'd be like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But if I say anything, and he always says, oh, you better watch out, like, because he knows it's coming. You say something, he's like, oh, watch out. She's at a 2. Don't get her to 10. He likes to say that stuff. But Avery knows. Avery tries to have comebacks. And the funny part now is that she's more likable to be around. Just the truth.
Why is that the funny part?
Well, because now I'm not as annoyed. Like, she doesn't annoy me when she walks in the room. Like, there was some time where I was just like, there's probably a year we went through where we didn't go to dinner with her because it would turn into a problem. She would make a comment. She'd say something. Doug would go at her. And I'd be like, and I remember saying like, we're done. I'm not going to eat with either of you. I can't do this because or Avery would say something and I'd get upset. But it's better now because he even said that the other day. He says, we actually like you. You're actually likable. This sounds awful to say, but
no, it's not awful.
You know what I mean? Where they're not
do,
just looking. She's actually paying attention and she's allowing us to snap, crackle, pop together. Like, she likes when I make fun. Like, I'll say something, she's not taking it so personally, or about.
She's just matured.
Yeah,
I think there's a window of time when the teenager thinks they are as wise, as smart, as creative, as spontaneous, as important as you are.
Yeah.
And it's not true. There's no possible way. We have so much more life experience and years on this planet. It's not possible.
Right.
So, but they think it is absolutely true.
Oh, yeah.
I for sure know 100% what I'm doing, and you're pretty much
you're
an
stupid.
asshole.
You're stupid. You have no idea what teenagers go through. I remember her saying that, and I remember going, and I don't want to know because I think you're all pussies. Oh, you're going to love this. You are going to love this. I said to Avery, Halston's like, please stop leaning back from the mic. I'm like, I'm very expressive. Bert's gotten probably really good at knowing that because he's very expressive too with his hands and stuff. So he probably always has to be mindful of that, but I'm not used to this. So, but I'll tell you what I told Avery. And I'm one of those that I don't care what people think about it, right? I really don't. I told her on a drive, we were driving up to see SCAD. She got into SCAD.
Oh, that's great.
Savannah College of Art and Design. And she's going to be doing
that's
2D
amazing.
animation. Yeah. And she got a merit scholarship for this private college.
Amazing.
I'm like, that's great. I'm like, Avery, you have 1 semester. You F up, you're out. You're done. You're done.
Right.
And then you can come home. You have 3 months to get your shit together. And then you're out. So she knows stakes are high because you got to put it can't just be a free for all, where you just F around because you got freedom all of a sudden. Like, I won't be that mom who's like, come back home and live with us. Doug's like, sure. I'm like, well, you can let him live with you. We'll be living separately then because I'm not going to be that woman unless she's having mental health. That's different.
Totally.
But Avery's not a manipulator like that. That's the best. I will say that's the best part of having a kids on the spectrum is she can't manipulate.
Right.
What
you see is what you get?
No, she doesn't. She cannot. My brother doesn't believe it. I'm like, Steve, I'm telling you, she's not your kids. Avery doesn't know. She doesn't have that skill of, I need this from you. How do I get you to
How
feel?
do I work it?
How do I hide that? And she don't have that.
Right.
She's not like me. I can do that.
yeah. But it is part of being on the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Is they're so very
She can't lie.
kind of literal, right?
100%
It's very literal.
Yeah. I watched Amy Schumer, who I adore. I think she's hilarious and she's raunchy as all get out, but I kind of like that. I loved her Life and Beth, her new series.
Yeah.
Because she's kind of telling her life story. I didn't know that she had the syndrome where she pulled her hair out. And she talks about, she shows that this is her life story. And she's showing a character in there who I believe is like her husband. And they don't talk about him being on the spectrum, but he clearly is. The actor isn't, but he's playing someone that is clearly on the spectrum. And we were laughing so hard because it's Avery. She says something like, a woman, her friend comes in and he's a farmer, this guy, but he's just he's refreshing to her because he just says exactly what he feels. And she's so used to the bullshit games of dating. He just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
She meets him. He has blood on his shirt because he had just I guess had to kill a chicken.
Yeah. Slaughtered something.
And she's like this, you have blood on your shirt? And he was like, yeah, I just had to kill chickens or whatever he says. I forget. And she's just like, because she's so used to guys that'd be like this. Oh, it's nothing. Yeah. Just lying or trying to get through to get to.
Yeah.
So he says in this thing, the girlfriend comes up and they're talking and she's so silly. And he goes, did you perm your hair? With no expression. And she was like, no, it's my natural curl. He was like, huh. We laughed so hard. Not that Avery would ever tell someone. Avery's good about that. I don't know how she knows better. She knows not to say are you going to wear that outfit? But I wouldn't put it past her to have that kind of same, I've said to her before, do I look fat in this? And she would be like, well, it's not the most flattering thing. So, okay, that's a yes. Got it.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're driving up to Savannah and I said to her, Avery, I need you on my deathbed or on my cremation or I don't know yet what I want, but whatever happens, there's one thing I need you to remember me for. And what I want to be remembered as a mother. And what's crazy is that this is so to my core hilarious. And it makes me think of, this is who you are. So don't shy away from it. She was so loving. She was so compassionate. She was so smart. She was so pretty. None of that. You know what I told her? I said, I didn't raise a pussy.
That's what you need.
That's what I need.
I didn't raise a pussy.
I did not raise a pussy. And she looked at me and I went, I'm not kidding. Because I need to know that when you leave this nest and you go to college and someone treats you wrong or someone gives you mayonnaise on your sandwich and you didn't want it and someone does something to hurt you or doesn't mean to hurt you, but they do, I need to know that you have a backbone and that you know how to stand up for yourself and those around you, those that you love, those that are disenfranchised, that you have the ability to speak intelligently, respectfully, but you can stand your ground, know what you're fighting for and fighting against. And that goes all the way from someone looking at you wrong, from someone hurting you, from the teacher dismissing you because you have a handicap and you don't know how to intelligently speak about it. And I need to know that you're going to fight for yourself because I won't be there to fight for you.
Right.
And that was, as we're driving to the college, I was like, I need to know that I did not raise a pussy because I want to know that I'm not going to have to be there to go, no, hey, you said that she was on the 3rd floor and she needs to do that because she has to be on odd floors or something, let's say it's that.
Yeah, whatever it is.
And if you get dismissed, I'm the first one. I will be like that. I will bow up.
Yeah.
She won't. She did it recently about food. They put this hot, spicy stuff on her food. She cannot eat it. And it's like a $20 meal. And I looked at her and I went, what's wrong? She was like, nothing. And I go, is that spicy? She was like, I can't feel my tongue. And I went, well, let's turn it back in. No. And I went, what did I tell you? I said, one thing. I didn't raise a pussy. Call the waitress over. No, you're going to do this right now in front of me or you're not going to college. I'm not kidding. Because I need to know that you can at least tell a server who didn't make the food.
Yeah. It's not her fault.
I'm so sorry. I'm like, don't apologize. And I go, I'm so sorry that she's apologizing. She doesn't need to apologize. Because you're not going to be a dick to them.
No.
You're not going to go, it's spicy. Okay. Don't be.
No.
That is, I didn't raise a bitch either. But I just was like, please, I need to know that you know that I didn't raise a pussy, because I'm not. And I have been able to get through this life with a strong back.
Yeah.
And I've been hurt. I've been, taken advantage, all that stuff. I go, but you rise to another day. And I just need to know that I raised a strong person, that you're not going to be stepped on, because she can't see manipulation.
Right.
And that's my biggest fear with her going to
is
college.
that she's being manipulated. And she
Being
can't see it.
manipulated, can't speak up for herself, and then can get lost in the whirlwind of emotions of that.
Mhm.
And how do you handle that when you don't have mom
Yeah.
to set things straight for you?
Yeah.
And you don't even know how to ask for it because you can't recognize that it's happening.
Right.
And then when I try to point it out that it's happening, she may or may not be able to see it. So that was I told my dad that, who's very Christian, and I laughed. I said, Dad, don't get mad at me. But I did say this to Avery. They laughed. So they couldn't believe I said that to her. And I told my brother that, and he was like, Chris, he's like, you are just ghetto. I go, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Because I need her to know.
Yeah.
Because the other stuff is a given. Of
Yeah.
course I love her. Of course I
Yeah.
think she's amazing. And of course I did all those things. But at the end of the day,
Yeah, right? You just
it was
need
the
to
only thing
make
I could think
sure.
of. Is like, I need you to have something that resonates. And she laughed. So now we have this thing. I'm like, I didn't raise a what? Say it with me.
A
Say it in
pussy.
unison.
That's
Unison.
funny.
A pussy. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Because that's not like a word you usually say around your daughter ever. It was very
No, well,
funny though
no.
when we did. Because when she had to repeat it to me, I was like, it's very empowering, isn't it? When you can say it out loud.
Yes, right?
My mom didn't raise a pussy. That's right. Don't say it with a
But I
whip,
think
with a little lip quiver
I think
either.
that's a really great message for her, because that is the truth.
It resonated. That's what I needed. I needed it
Yeah.
to stick.
Well,
it
they
stuck.
need to know, every kid has their own challenge. Asperger or no,
Yeah.
every kid has their own thing they have to learn, you know?
And nowadays, everyone said everyone she knows
Everybody.
has mental health issues. I'm like, well, if everybody has it, then maybe nobody has it. Maybe it's just, this is how we are.
Maybe it's just this is how we are. But what
Yeah.
you have to do is know yourself well enough to know your own weaknesses, right? So, like with Georgia is so focused on her social life
yeah.
that I go, my fear for her when she goes to college is that she's going to be so social. She's going to be like her daddy and spend 7 years in undergrad because she's partied too much.
Right.
And I it's just not healthy
No.
because it's not moderated and it's not balanced.
Right.
Right. And,
And she's seeing success
Yeah.
in her father for having
Yes.
that life. But he also is a guy. It was a different time. You never know if you flip the switch and it was a female. And you don't
Well,
know.
he talked to her and Isla about that actually recently. He said, you cannot apply the rules that I have followed to anybody's life on this planet
Right.
because it doesn't work. This
Right.
isn't actually the way life
It's
works.
a very small percentage.
So,
and
yeah,
he's
like,
even
so
smaller. In
don't
that.
expect that you party through college and end up where I am, because actually he ended up where he is because he worked really hard.
Of course.
But it took him a long time to figure that out.
Yeah.
You know?
He had luck. I mean, there's a lot of luck in Hollywood. We know that.
Yeah,
but
totally.
you got to have the goods to back it up
Yeah,
or
and
you're
you
dead
gotta
in the
work
water.
your ass off.
That's right.
But with Isla,
I call Bert a marketing genius.
he is.
I think even more so, he's funny as shit, of course, because he couldn't be where he is. I think his ability to pivot and think outside of the box and have the balls to do it when no one does it and not really worry about, maybe he's a worry wart like me, but not worry about the outcome because he trusts in it so much and he goes 1000% all in.
He does.
I mean, he does that in relationship. I mean, I think that's the tenacity and the grit to survive Hollywood regardless.
Well, it's definitely what you have to have, I think, in Hollywood in general, in some lane.
Yeah.
You may have it as an actor where you're, you just balls to the wall every time you take a role, but he is not afraid to fail.
Right.
In a certain sense, where he's not afraid to go, hey, the pandemic's hit. Why don't we start doing live shows in drive-in movie theaters and have when he called his agent and his agent was like, can't be done. It's too expensive. First thing he said. And then he called Bert back like a week later and went, I was wrong. I figured out a way to do it. So if you want to do it, let's try it.
Yeah.
And Bert was like, fuck yeah, let's try it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And everything he does is like that, where he just has no fear of failing, because a lot of people would look at it and go, nah, you might break even on this tour. He didn't care. He was like, I don't care.
No, he's doing what he loves.
People are trapped in houses. No, people are not working.
Right.
There's
need to
a
laugh.
million reasons why you need to laugh.
Yeah.
I need to work. He was like,
Yeah.
I can't be sitting in my house for the next 9 months with the people, my family.
No, yeah. No, it'll drown him, right? His own words in his own head would drown him because he's an entertainer by nature.
Yes.
Yeah.
He needs the life that we have. This is the way he needs it to be.
Yeah.
He needs to miss the road when he's home and miss home when he's on the road. He's texted me a million times a day because he's really homesick. He's freaking snow skiing in Breckenridge. He's having a great time.
But you know what? I think as much as he is on and has to do that, he craves the simplicity of the touch from you, seeing his girls.
Yeah, he does.
Loving on his animals. There's something, and I can relate to that a little bit. When I was on tour in I-5, I just, as much as it was fun, is the same juxtaposition of it. I was miserable.
Yeah.
I loved it and I hated it in the same breath. And that was so weird to be in that, like, stuck in that dichotomy of like, you're so lucky. Mm-hmm. And I know Bert will beat himself up. That's why he has a hard time saying no to gigs, right? Like we talked about that last time we were together, like, because it's hard. It's hard because you don't know when it's going to end. And you have to take advantage of every opportunity because you don't know what the next one could give. Yeah. And that's the Hollywood, you've been there. But I felt like that. And I travel a lot too with what I do, but it's different. They don't miss me. Doug starts to miss me after like 5 days.
Yeah.
But they don't even, Avery will barely shower. Doug goes to bed at 11 o'clock at night. He works literally like 15-hour days and he loves it because no one's up in his shit. Where are you going to have your dinner? When are you coming over here? He don't like that. And he wants his freedom to do that. But of course, there's responsibilities when I'm there. It's like, no, you can't work 15-hour days straight. Like, come on. Yeah. He's just he cannot stand laying down. He doesn't want to do numb and dumb. He can only do it for like an hour or two at a time.
Same. I can only do it.
You can watch. Well, at least you can watch a movie. Doug can't watch a movie. He'll have to stand up in the middle of the movie we're watching. He has to stretch and he bends down, gets on the sides, and I go, I can't focus on the movie because now I'm watching you do freaking calisthenics.
Yeah, no, I'm that way too. Bert gets in the bed in the middle of the day with all the curtains drawn, and I'm like, this is the most depressing scenario on the planet. I would feel like a loser.
That's what
if
Doug
I
feels
got
like.
in the bed in the middle of the day and watched TV for no reason.
If it's a
I can't do
Saturday,
that.
it's happening.
I can't even really do it if I'm sick.
I know. Yeah.
I can't.
I will.
I still just keep moving. I just got to keep moving. Yep. I can't sit still like that every once in a while. Although I've been getting good about it lately. I've been like, when it's 9 o'clock at night, I need to sit down.
Yeah.
I have to make myself stop and sit down.
Because you could keep going
I
for
go
a few
to
more
midnight
hours.
every single day. And that's not healthy.
No.
So I make myself sit down and just watch TV or read a book. I usually fall asleep if I read a book.
Yeah, I can't. I don't read. I try. I'm kind of I like books on tape, but even that sometimes, here's the problem with that. If the actor is not good.
Oh, I know it's awful.
It's the worst. If their voice, because I did voiceover for 16 years and I remember being like, if that voice does that one more time, where they go like, let's say they're reading the script and they're saying like, he then came in and John was like, why are you doing that? And they don't act that out properly. I'm done. I'm out. I can't focus. Or if the Southern accent sucks, or if I can't differentiate, are you trying to be Southern, or did you just go into another character because I can't read it? Yeah, bad casting. Now I'm a casting agent, and now I've already rewritten the book. I'm casting myself in it. It's now
I've burned the audio tape. I've burned it. It's just burned. So let me ask you this.
Okay.
What is it going to be like next year?
No idea. Freaking the
Are you
fuck
nervous?
out. I was thinking about this question together because I want to hear about you. I mean, I know Isla's still going to be at home, but it's going to be weird. I don't know. When we just took Avery for spring break, the day before, it was like April 8th, we drove up to Savannah. We took the long way around to Destin. We went to Savannah. We spent 2 days in Savannah. I actually forced Doug to go with her because I had already gone with her on the SCAD tour day. Mm-hmm. And this was a little bit more intense where they get to meet some of the professors. I made him go on it. He was bored to death, of course, but he went. And I'm like, it's important for you who's contributing half of this that we're spending a lot of this money on. I need you to know and feel comfortable that just watch her, observe her. He doesn't really observe behavior though. Him and her are like identical. Let me do it. I'll do it all for all of us. I'll pick up on that cue and teach you what that meant. But I was stuck in the hotel with our blind dog because Binky got SARS 5 months ago.
What is Sarge?
He's 12 years old. He's a little morky. He's the love of my husband's life.
Aw.
Other than me, I don't know, maybe close seconds. I used to go, where am I?
She's
Hold
coming
on.
back.
I got to put a little bit of extra dust on you. And your asshole. That's fantastic.
Oh, Cheryl.
Shirley, please don't butt stamp me.
Cheryl,
you know who taught me
girl.
what butt stamp?
I wonder.
Leanne taught me the word butt stamp after we had
pro butt
babies.
stamper.
Great. No, but the dog SARS, sudden acute retinal, and the D stands for something I can't remember. But Binky out of nowhere, it was September, all of a sudden started hitting his face on things every once in a while. And then within 2 weeks of that time period, he went completely blind.
Oh, buddy.
It was awful. It was awful. Like, my husband was a wreck. I mean, Doug was laying on the ground with him, bawling like a baby, which understandably, that is his long lost son. And so we took him to a veterinarian that specializes in dog eye care, of course. And we're researching everything, and there's no cure, nothing. We don't know it's Sarge yet. We think he's just got something that needs drops, or we don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
But he fell down the stairs, and that's what happened. Yeah.
Buddy.
He fell, and it was very scary. We thought he's going to break his neck. He can't see, which then affected his nose. He couldn't smell that well. And it just affects them completely. They don't know where they are. And so they'll pee anywhere because they don't know where they are. Just stood there and would pee. And we're like, oh no. So we basically took him to this vet, and the vet did a EKG or EEG on the eyes where they check and see if there's any activity in the eyes, and there was none. And she says, yeah, this is SARS. There's no cure. There's no rhyme or reason. It doesn't affect just one breed. Did you see that? Did you see? Touch. You touching me.
She's the sweetest cat.
I just need to give you a little bit more tuna fish.
I need to know that you're here. You need
Stink.
I need
Stink.
to know.
She does have a stinky breath.
Oh, they all do, don't they?
She does have a stinky breath.
But I would say that it was so traumatic on us. I've never had a dog. I didn't grow up with dogs. So that's his dog. And I love Binky, but that's his dog. And watching him was it tore my heart. I've always said, it's going to be really hard when this dog dies. Like, I'm worried about him. I'm really worried that Doug will spiral, and he suffers from depression anyways. So it's going to be some interesting moments, but the vet said she is, in 20 years of doing this specific for dogs in their eye care, she has only had one dog that couldn't make it through it. And it was a large breed dog who became phobic to go outside. To where the dog was literally like, I can't. He wouldn't go outside. He became scared. He would yelp. He would not let them take him outside because he's scared.
Yeah.
And the family were like, what a horrible life, like this dog. And so Doug was struggling, thinking Binky's personality's changed.
Mm-hmm.
He's miserable. And she said, let me tell you, it's harder on the humans than it is the dog. The dog adapts. He's fine. He'll adapt. And within 2 weeks, we had to buy baby gates. It's like having a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
All over again. And, he in the middle of the night, he'll wake up, you hear pitter patter. He gets trapped. He gets like lost, and he's standing at the door. And then Doug will call him, and he's like, and he's looking around. It's this cutest and saddest thing all at the same. I got him this halo thing called not Milo. I forget, something halo, and it's for blind dogs. It says blind on it, and it has a halo, so he can't hit his nose on everything. He hates it though. He looks so cute in it. I had it at on spring break because he's bouncing off. He doesn't know where he's at.
Yeah,
because our home he can
spring break.
We have to, because I don't trust him going to anyone. It's like 24/7. So in the hotel, and he's becoming more. He's needy.
12. You said
he's 12. Yeah, he's becoming more needy and separation anxiety from Doug fully, because that's his eyes.
Yeah,
Doug is his eyes. Doug carries him everywhere like a little football.
That's so
stink. So yeah, it's been hard, but so with Avery leaving and the dog being blind, holy shit! Like,
y'all should get a puppy. You should get Doug a new puppy.
Well, the hard part is that we don't know if we want to get him a puppy while Binky's still here. And the only reason why is because Binky could become very territorial. Well, right now, Binky, everything's about food. And we just got blood work done, and we don't know if Binky's doing too well.
We're covered in cat
Christ.
hair.
I love cats. Thank God I love cats. I do love cats. But I do think that for us, he was worried that Binky would become depressed. Like Binky could become more anxious if another dog is there, because Binky can't even know if anyone's around him. Like he doesn't know. And if you go to touch his face, he turns quickly. He thinks it's food.
Oh,
So just worried that could result in a issue.
right.
So I'm like, no. And then we'll need to get another one immediately though.
Like same day.
Yeah, like already have the breeder ready. I don't know. I'm worried about it.
Aww.
I just, I
So
don't know.
back to empty nest.
Empty
because
nest.
My friends and I talk about this quite a bit here. The camper group, 2 of us are about to be half empty.
Yeah.
2 families. Let's see. There's 2 families that are 2 years behind us. Everybody has 2 kids.
Oh, wow.
So the good news is we feel like we're baby stepping into it.
Yeah.
One, and then a couple years later, the other one. But I don't know. You know what, Bert? Here's what I thought. I thought now is the time when I need to start setting up the next phase.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to go ahead and to start doing things like go meet Bert on the road without the girls.
Right.
Make sure he and I go away for a weekend, just the 2 of us, because that's our future.
Absolutely.
So if we do it little bits and pieces now,
yeah.
maybe it won't be so abrupt. Not that we don't want to spend time alone.
No,
together,
but it is weird to
but
not bring the kid. I know. Same here.
It is weird.
We have started that. That's why we started going to dinner together.
Yeah.
We have
by yourself,
not even date night. Like we have dinner together, and every once in a while I'll say, Avery, you want to join us? Usually she's like, no. I'm like, all right, good. You want chicken nuggets? He's 17. You want your little cheese? You want your little cheese slices too? You want me to cut that up? But we go a lot, and we'll have a couple drinks, and we started that. I would say a year and a half ago.
Oh,
or no,
good.
it was right when we were allowed to go back to restaurants. And I was just like, I don't like being around Avery when we go to dinner. I didn't. Now I'm enjoying it more, but it ruins it. And she's not even engaging. I don't need this shit. I want to like her. I don't want to dread her.
Yeah.
And so we would go to dinner. I'd be like, let's just count it down. Are we going to be in 3 minutes before something comes up? And she says something that makes me go, fucking kidding me? You want to go there? You want to go toe to toe on that one?
Yeah.
Because again, lighter fluid. That's me.
It's hard with kids, I think, especially Bert and Georgia had a lot of that. I think I have a better understanding that they just don't know what they're fucking talking about. So I just go, okay.
Yeah.
And if there's some life lesson that needs to be learned, like you said earlier, I'll say, okay, I got something to say, and I'm going to be using a lot of words.
That's right.
So
ready? Prepare your ears because it's coming at
words.
you. Don't tune it out, or I'll repeat myself.
Yes, because Georgia, one time I was parenting her, and I could tell she was getting really agitated. And I said, "What's the problem?" She was like, "It's too many words, just a lot of words." And I was like,
"Are you a man?
What really? Too many words, girl. You ain't
have
seen nothing yet."
I'm at it too.
I'm like a wordsmith here.
That's
you
right.
You ready?
Yeah.
I'll give you some words.
Yeah.
So that's
and you're nice. You at least would probably give her more words. I would give words that would eviscerate. See, if Avery ever said that,
I just go, you want some words? I give you some words.
Yeah.
Here's 8,000 more than I was going to give you.
Now you're going to get
shut
10,000. That's right.
Don't complain about it anymore. But I watch Bert react to Georgia or Isla, and I think, what are you doing? She's a child.
Yeah.
Why would you ever engage in that conversation with a child? Because Shirley just opened the door, and then the door.
No, he did.
You did. Okay, Shirley just.
Because if she Houdini'd that,
I know, right? I was like, what?
A very special cat, and you need to put her on Instagram.
She's Sabrina the Teenage Witch's cat. But I watched Bert get in these arguments with Georgia, and I think, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
She's a child.
Yeah.
You don't need to prove anything.
Yeah, you got nothing to have to prove. It's hard, though, when you feel challenged. If you feel pushed, Doug.
Well, now there's difference because there are times when that does happen,
right?
Where like I caught Georgia in 3 lies and 3 sentences. 3 lies and 3 sentences.
Amazing.
I knew the answer to the question I was asking before I asked the question.
Oh, yeah.
So I asked the question.
Those are great.
Incorrect answer. Ask the question, incorrect answer. Ask question, incorrect answer. And I go, interesting, because the answer to the first question is bam. Oh. Second question, bam. Oh. Third question, bam. Oh. Guess what? Your ass is in trouble now. You're in trouble.
See, and here's what's crazy. I don't I've never had those moments with Avery.
Why? Oh, because she's not
She can't
manipulative.
lie.
Oh, yeah. I got a liar.
Do you?
I got a liar pants on fire.
Really?
Yep. One of them.
Is that like Bert though? Like if he thinks he's going to get caught or he was going to get in trouble?
I think probably when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
Probably.
And getting called to the mat.
She's not a liar.
No.
As a human being,
Right.
she's not a liar.
But if she needs to get out of something.
As a teenager,
she's a little liar.
She's going to get to where she wants to be. So if she wants to be at so-and-so's house,
she's going to find a way to get
she's going to go to this one, then that one, then this one, and that one. And then, oops, just forgot to tell you.
Uh-huh.
Where you're like,
well, it's like lie by omission. It's like, you didn't ask me.
100%.
Yeah, Avery can do that one.
Oh, no,
it's literal.
no. We're good at that one at my house.
What about Isla?
I'm like, Isla's an interesting little bird. I think the pandemic really sent her on a hard left turn.
Yeah.
You know, I think it stunted that social growth for her that's just starting now.
Yeah.
Georgia was already fully in high school, fully immersed in a social life when the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
So she was already, you know.
She had her friends and they communicated.
She had her
She's
friends.
a little older, so she was already texting and doing all that stuff.
Yes. And Isla, you know, Isla started high school fully in the pandemic. So her freshman year of high school, she didn't see anybody ever until the very end of freshman year. So like she didn't really get to start this process of making friends for high school friends.
When it's the most awkward year. I mean, it is the most, because you're brand new, you're the lowest man on the totem pole, but at least you have the camaraderie of your friends to be it together.
Yes, but they didn't get that.
No.
So now it's hard to say. I haven't found her manipulating in that way.
Right.
She manipulates because she's a teenager.
Sure.
But it's not as, I don't even know how I can describe it. She manipulates by grandstanding. And then I won't blah. And I'm like, well, really? Well, then I won't blah. And then we have to grandstand each other. And then she's matured enough lately where she'll come back and go, that wasn't cool. I'm really sorry.
That's huge.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I never thought she would be able to get to that point from the way we've been.
Sure. Well, and recognize that. That's maturity.
Yes.
Avery has a little bit of that. A little bit.
Isla's really good at that. Georgia is not good at that.
Really?
Georgia used to be good at that. And I think as she got to be, of the age that, no, I'm not going to admit when I'm wrong. No, it's hard for her to admit when she's wrong. She was never like that when she was younger.
Really?
Not never, but she's definitely worse now.
Avery definitely got worse with that as she got older. It was, well, and it's something Doug completely struggles with.
Yeah.
And the worst part is I used to say to Doug, like, you fall on your sword. And I used to say, is it a little windy and chilly in that right tower all by yourself? How's that right tower serving you? You want to be happy?
I do that
or
sometimes, but I think Bert thinks I do it way more than I actually do.
Well, because they're thinking that you think you're right. And that, for me, Doug has said that to me before, like, well, you think you're right. I said, actually, if I'm down. Show me. Let's talk about it. And I'll tell you if I'm wrong. I got no qualms with being like, you know what? I can see your perspective. I said, the problem I have is that you can't do that for me. You can't say, I understand how that could be perceived that way. I go, because that takes emotional intelligence. That takes being able to see yourself in the moment. He used to always say, if we could only record ourselves. I'm like, because the moment we hit the record button, shit would change.
Yeah, totally.
That's the problem. You may forget about it. The camera's on, but we haven't had those in a while.
That's
Every
good.
once in a while. Yeah, I mean, definitely. Because there were a couple years, about 4 years ago, it was kind of a, this is interesting. And he used to always say, like, you married it.
Well, you know what the thing is about marriage sometimes, I think. You have to expect these growing pains. You know, when you're young and in love and it's all very new, it's real easy to forgive and also overlook.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's super easy to get a free pass.
Oh, yeah.
But as you are in it and you get in the thick of it, it gets harder to give the free pass and it gets harder to get one.
Absolutely.
You know?
I think we also firm up those, those instilled either values or discrepancies, and they get harder or they get softer. And a lot of times they get firmer and harder. You get, it's the whole can't teach a dog new tricks, or, stubborn as a mule. And there's a reason why these are usually about older people, unless they're teenagers, right? But yeah, I think Doug has definitely gotten a little bit better at that, because I think I've been able to go through with him and go, that just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
And he, look, I did marry it. I married a guy who cannot communicate what his heart sees and feels. He can't verbalize it.
I'm going to say this though.
So
Didn't he used to like send you messages and stuff when we were waitressing together?
Oh yeah. He would text me.
Yeah.
Well, he would page me.
Oh,
I had
on
a
the pager. We all had a pager, didn't we?
Then
all?
it turned into the ones that you could actually write something on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he would text me page me 246, which meant I love you.
Aw.
But what's interesting is that over time, he still, to write a card for my birthday, anniversary, whatever, it would take him hours.
Yeah.
And he would panic about it. He couldn't do a toast. Cheers. You look beautiful. I told you when we had a moment at our 10-year anniversary. I think I mentioned this to you. We were at a dinner together. We were at the beach, and it was our anniversary, and it was 10 years. And I'll never forget it. I was sitting across from him, and I just said, we had wine, and I just said, okay, let's toast to each other. Say 3 things that you love about the other person. And he couldn't say one.
Oh, wow, that's stupid.
Couldn't do it. I mean, I'm talking palm sweating, the look of phobia. And I just went, and I remember, okay, there was two reactions I had. One was, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, right.
Check, please.
Yeah, right.
Like, what am I doing married to someone like this?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think I'm fantastic.
Yeah, you are.
Well, I remember, and my second thought was, I could name 100 things about me that are great.
Yeah.
And you can't name one. And it was rough. I mean, we ended that night. It was not a good night, because I remember saying to him, you got a problem. Like, this is, and he can't express himself. He couldn't express himself to go, what it is, Avery is so similar. And I've noticed this. We're at Thanksgiving together. Everybody has to go around and say something they're thankful for. She cannot do it. That's when she had said that one phrase around my dad 3 years ago. Okay, everybody name something you're thankful for. And Avery said, I'm glad I didn't die. I mean, and I was like, and I start like dancing around that and trying to make excuses for her saying that. And she was like, no, seriously, I'm just glad I didn't die this year. I'm like, because that was a possibility. I mean, yeah. Well, literally, it could have been if I crossed the street. No, you don't say that at Thanksgiving dinner. Inappropriate. And so, and Doug used to really, it just would make him sweat. Like, and I had to, through therapy and our marriage therapy, was understand he is zero wiring. He does not see the need for that in me. Like, he doesn't know, she looks really pretty. Say it.
Yeah.
Nope. And I believe that there's some nature nurture in this. He was raised by a very critical mother. She's passed. But I mean, critical, like about his music, about his hair, about his design abilities. Like, she was mean. And not very
good.
loving.
Yeah.
And he didn't get raised around a mom or a dad that knew how to show affection. And everything was kind of always a backhanded compliment. And so I believe deep down, and I believe Doug is definitely on the spectrum. It usually is hereditary at some point. There's portions of it. But I think that he was taught early on, you do not put yourself vulnerable like that, because you will disappoint them. They will be critical. And he has said this to me before. He's like, you want a marching band when I come home from being out of town? I want a marching band. I go, no, but a small banner would be okay.
A small banner.
I don't need flutes and stuff. He goes, but you'd like the flutes. I'm like, listen, I'm never going to turn down a party.
Yeah, right.
But a card would be just fine.
Yeah, right.
And he's like, yeah, but what do you really want the card to say? You see, it's always so critical. And so when he writes a card, he literally is freaking out about what to say because I'm going to judge it. And I go, yeah, I'm going to judge it if you go, happy birthday. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to judge you. But if you go, you're the love of my life. I couldn't be in this journey without you. And he's like, oh, that sounds great. You should write that down.
let me just.
So you know what he confided in me that he does?
What?
He goes through all the cards that I've written him and he will pluck words out of it.
Aw.
And I'm like, is it because you can't think of them on your own? Or is it because it's just too personal and vulnerable?
Yeah.
And he can't identify which one it is.
Yeah.
But
probably both.
yeah. And that's what he can't do. He's so afraid of saying the wrong thing. And I'm like, aren't we past that judging shit? I judged you a long time ago.
Yeah, right?
I've been judging your
We done seen everything
I judge your
about
bags.
everybody.
I see your
Yeah.
silver fox hair. I see
Yeah.
you got a little extra belly fat. Whatever. I got mine too. Like I'm judging you all the time, but I'm judging you more about how you treat me.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about the words. It's more about that you even made them.
Yeah, right.
I like when he has to be pushed a little, be vulnerable. I like when he squirms a little bit. There's something sexy about that and romantic to me. He is miserable to do it.
Yeah.
I love it because I love you. You're amazing. You're so fun. You make me laugh. I can go on and on. He's like, what does that feel like to have this just bank of all these amazing emotional words that actually are real and true and authentic? And I'm like, I don't know because it just is there. Because I feel it.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to learn how you communicate, right? You're a very verbal communicator. Yeah. George is very verbal. Very verbal. That's why I could parent her also, is because I could tell her and she could grasp it. Isla's not a verbal communicator. She can read posture, facial expressions, mood,
so like a nonverbal.
Energy, total nonverbal cues. Isla will know exactly what's going on in a nanosecond.
Interesting.
So, and you know, I wasn't a verbal communicator when I was young, but Bert is very verbal. Yeah. So a lot of times early on when we would argue, he would tell me how I felt, and then it would be my turn to say how I felt, and I would go, I have no idea. I have no idea.
That's what Doug would do.
I just know I feel really bad.
Yeah.
So I'd say, you got to give me a minute. Like,
that's
I got to figure this out.
Because I've always seen you as such a deep communicator.
I am, but when there are high stakes.
Sure. When it's a relationship like that, not just a friendship. Absolutely. I could see that.
High stakes, and I shut down because, you know, my experience of communicating in a high stakes relationship is with my parents, right? And I had great communications with my dad, but I never had any conflict with him. Right. So I had no reason to have any kind of high stakes with my dad. My mother's relationship and mine were more high stakes than not.
And volatile. Right?
And in that relationship, I was allowed no voice.
Right.
So she could tell me all the things I did wrong and who I was that was bad and all these terrible, shitty things and how it affected her and how her feelings were hurt and how I had fucked her over. But as soon as I started talking, even as a very young child, nope. You don't get to say anything.
Queen narcissist. Right,
you don't get to talk.
That's right. So you don't have an opinion.
No, you don't. You don't get to. Not only do you not get to have one vocally, you don't get to have one in your brain.
Right.
You will only think.
So you couldn't even think about it because it almost would go. You go into shutdown silence.
Yes.
Right? Silence was safer.
Silence was the only safety.
Yeah.
So I would just withdraw. I'd just go unplugging, withdraw. So when we first got together, he would say, and I had no siblings.
Right.
So I have nobody to fight with.
Yeah.
I never fought with my dad, ever.
Right.
And then
you didn't need to. There was no conflict.
There was no conflict. And then I never fought with my mom because I wasn't allowed to.
Right.
So by the time I got to the age to need to know how to, I had no idea.
Right.
So I had to figure it out in therapy.
Yeah.
And Bert was extremely patient. In the beginning of our relationship, he would say, because he could vomit his feelings from sun up to sundown, buddy. You knew exactly how he felt in every moment.
Because he couldn't keep it in. That's like me.
Because he can't keep it in. And he's such a verbal communicator that he could clearly express himself. And I'd just be like,
that's Doug. He could not. And I used to say, is it that you can't find the words?
It's like, I'll tell you what it's like, or what it was like for me. It's like the gray screen on a TV, like after midnight. Remember back in the day when the TV programming was no more and the screen would just go gray?
Oh, yeah.
It's like static. Like I hear static.
Yeah.
Like I can't even, I'm not this way anymore because I worked really hard in therapy and in my arguments with Bert at in the moment going, what's going on for me?
Right.
So how do I articulate, and how is what he's saying, how is that resonating with me? And how can I bring up my words for how I feel so that I have a dog in this fight? Because I'd be the dog that got, bit every fight.
Of course.
So, but it was not easy, and it took a lot of self-reflection and awareness in the moment to be able to kind of hold two things at one time, to be able to hold the argument and then behind the scenes try and like treasure hunt.
Yeah.
What's going on here for me?
What do I feel?
And how do I say it?
Yeah.
How do I say it in a respectful, constructive way?
Right.
Because I'm a fighter. So the first thing is going to be like, fuck you.
Yeah, of course.
And I can't do that
No.
because I don't want to do that.
Because you want to stay married.
Yes. Well,
Right.
one thing I've never understood is why someone needs to defame character to have an argument.
Right.
It's just not necessary.
It isn't. And I think that is where the danger zone is in fighting.
Completely. Because once you say you're a fucking asshole, you've lost me.
100%.
You've lost me. You just called me a name.
That's right.
Name calling is one of the worst things you can do.
That's right.
So there's no point in it. What does it get you?
Nothing.
You haven't communicated anything except I'm angry.
Right.
You know what you can do instead is say, I'm angry.
That's right. I'm angry. I feel hurt.
Yeah.
It's funny because that's why I said Doug can say you could say you're a fucking asshole to Doug. Will not penetrate. Doesn't penetrate.
Well, it doesn't penetrate me unless Bert does it. Because someone could call me any name and I go, I don't know, fucking give a shit about you.
Yeah. Don't give a shit.
But if Bert says it, then I go, hold on, you don't talk to me that way.
That's right. Same here.
That's not what's in our relationship. I don't take anything personally. But when we're in a fight.
Yeah, watch your words.
And then you can't. Now you are not respecting how much you respect me.
That's right.
Now you have lost your way in your own heart where I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Not only have you offended me, you've actually defamed what you claim
that you love
to
about
feel
me
for
too.
me.
That's right. Yeah.
You just fucked yourself over.
Yeah.
Because now you've taken that down a notch.
Right. And now how do you gain it back? Because now,
he got to put it back.
You got to put it back. And for me, I'll Rolodex that thing. It'll right there. Let's place that one in. Fucking asshole. F you. Hold on. Pause. I know we're going to continue this fight, but I need to Rolodex that piece of shit right there. Because I'm going to have collateral on that one for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Bert does that. I don't do that.
I do.
I don't.
I don't mean to. I don't know how to not do it.
I think that's part of a nature thing.
Yeah.
Well, because the thing is, you guys are very smart. You're very, very smart. And not that I'm not very smart, but I'm a different kind of smart than you guys are. I think I'm a much more practical, pragmatic.
You're very logistical. Like you're.
I'm a literal.
Yes.
I might be Asperger, but not.
No.
I'm Asperger adjacent. In that, I mean, my trainer is like
you're perpendicular.
I keep talking about my personal trainer, but this has come up a lot lately. I am so literal. He's like, left leg, buddy. You don't have to tell me twice.
That's right, but don't say the other leg.
I work out with Sandy. And he says left leg, and it takes her like because she's not literal.
You're right.
She's much more abstract thinker like you and Bert.
Yeah.
So she's like, he'll say other side, and I just go to the other side, and she's like, which is the other?
One?
I don't understand.
What were we working on?
Oh wait, where am I in space time continuum? I have no idea. And I'm like, it's 2:30 on a Friday. It's 2:30 on a Friday. And so Bert's the same. It's all part of this abstract amalgamation of feelings and hurts and scorekeeping. And my brain just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
I go, we're in this moment right now. You hurt my feelings in this moment. I just told you, you hurt my feelings in this moment. You've apologized. It's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
And I usually am like, it's over.
But it's not over.
Until it happens again.
And when it happens again for me, I'll go, we're repeating a cycle here.
Yeah.
I don't want to repeat the cycle.
Yeah.
Where he will make me pay for the last times he goes through that Rolodex and goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Guess what?
I got 6 cards I'm looking at right now, and it is not a flush.
It's like the NOLO contender to UI. I'm going to plead NOLO, which means no consequence. But if you get a DUI again, you get double.
That's right.
That's right. What it is. And I don't function like that. I just don't. I just go, we're all here learning. Yeah. And you didn't, it's okay. to the point of being abusive, obviously.
Of course.
But to the point of like, it's just going to, nobody's going to learn a lesson the first time.
That's right.
Not ever.
Or second sometimes, and depending on the person and what the scenario is. I tend to find that I will say to Doug things like, if he says anything that's like sharp, he does like sharp, like cuts. Like he's one of those. He likes to kind of, like I said, dagger, and then he's out. Just let you, and then you're like, and what? What's wet? Oh, I'm bleeding out. I mean, that's what he does. And I just look at him sometimes, and I've said to him in the past, just being like, does that make you feel good? Like,
what is the purpose of that?
To say that to him?
No, to stab and leave.
Oh.
What is the purpose? Does it make him not have to be accountable for what's really going on if he just cuts it off? Does it make it where he doesn't have to feel or think through the moment? I'm curious. What do you think that's about?
It's a great question, and I do not have the answer because I really think it's a fight or flight thing, and he's not a fighter.
It's a defense mechanism, perhaps, to keep himself from being too vulnerable.
Yeah, totally. It's you hurt me or pissed me off about that. I'm gonna briefly emotionally vomit on you. And then I don't want to stick around to hear what you think about it. I don't want to have to deal with the verbal assault.
I'm not cleaning up the vomit.
No.
I'm going to leave it right there with 100%. You.
And then the funny part about that is, as he would tell you, is that there's been one time in our marriage in 23, well, gosh, we've been married 22 years. We've been together like 25. I said to him, okay, he got really sick once, and he's the worst vomiter on the planet.
No, he's not.
Is burp bad?
Oh, my God.
Let me tell you something. You want me to vomit? Let me hear Doug vomiting. You want to have an immediate? Like, let me hear it. And then it is, there's no daylight between us when it comes to that. You vomit, I vomit. Here's why. I made spaghetti. You know my famous spaghetti. My famous.
You vomit, I vomit. You vomit, I vomit.
That's the love.
Oh my God.
You vomit, and like, you hurt, I hurt. You vomit, I vomit. You shit, I shit. It's great. It's beautiful. Beautiful marriage. Austin, you're hearing this because that's going to be you. You better tell her.
Yeah, right?
You vomit, I vomit. You shit, I shit. You love, I love. You hate, I hate. It's all the same. That's another t-shirt.
I know, right? You vomit, I vomit.
And then you just show it. No, I made my amazing spaghetti. He wasn't feeling too good. Who knew? I proceed to witness a exorcism of sorts where he is on all fours by the side of our bed, and the sounds were.
Wait, what was he throwing up into, please?
Floor? Onto the ricocheting hardwood floor that then it proceeded to splatter back on him onto the bed skirt.
Could he not make it to the?
No, because he is the worst vomiter on the planet. He cannot. Anyone that knows anyone that vomits like this will absolutely be like, "Oh my God, yes!" And everyone goes back in their head. It takes 5 seconds to say it, and they all go and see the story. Mine is that spaghetti, which is in full blown spaghetti mode because it hasn't digested yet, so it's full blown because he didn't chew it apparently, and he's vomiting spaghetti.
He didn't chew it apparently.
Didn't chew it all up, and he is like.
God.
I'll have to back off the mic. He is like, I mean, it is like the devil himself has reached out of his vomit throat, down from his asshole. And I'm just like, and I'm in the bathroom. I come out and witness this. And I'm like, I can't, I'm going to barf. And I throw towels at him from the back. I'm like probably maybe further than that chest right there. I throw him towels like this, and I go, clean it up, clean it up. And I'm throwing, because in that moment, I got a whiff of.
Oh, no.
And I'm telling you, I'm going, and I'm gagging, throwing towels at his head, just clean this shit up, figure it out. And he's just like, blah. It's like how he fucking sneezes. Jesus. This dude sneezes, and I plug my ears, and I go, can you hold some of it in? Because he goes like, achoo! And I'm just like, well, thank God you're alive, because you just told everyone in the restaurant that you sneezed.
Yeah,
like,
right?
he doesn't, you know how women go like,
yeah.
okay.
No, he can't.
No, he's like, Chow. I'm like, you vomit the same way. So it's with Avery. Like if he could catch her vomit and I'd be like, and I'm throwing, I can't do it.
Yeah.
That shit's boogers. Like I can't, there's some, he goes,
the trifecta.
It is.
The trifecta.
You want to see me become like a puddle of just nonsense.
Boogers, really?
I can't, because I grew up with a brother that would go and do that thing and then and go, oh my God.
Yeah, loogies.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Even, and Doug knows that is a thing with me. And he'll say something like, oh, it's like when you're sick and the snot hits back your throat. I'm like, I will fucking throw up on you, like in your lap right now in the car. And he's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, don't talk about it. Because I think when I was younger, I remember I saw a guy picking his nose and he ate it and I threw up.
Oh my God.
It was immediate. I'm telling you. They're like, Doug, you vomit, I vomit. It's that quick. So anyways, Avery threw up in the car one time and I had to pull over and vomit. Like I can't be around vomit and shit and snot. It's a problem. I won't be wiping Doug's ass.
No, well,
I'm just telling you right now. I'll hire Helga with the freaking Russian horn set. I don't care. A Viking. You ain't going to get a hot nurse, first of all. I already told him that. You ain't getting a hot nurse.
You're getting a Viking nurse.
You're going to get a Viking nurse
God.
with really wide shoulders and a big ass and not a cute, fun Brazilian Kim Kardashian ass.
Right?
No, you're going to get a block with a little line in it. You're getting the Helga and I want her to hurt you. Like you need to be in pain. When she gets you out of your wheelchair,
right?
Well, you're going to know it's a one-stop shop. You're clean as a whistle. There's no double wipe happening. Mm-mm.
Well, Bert got sick one time and didn't make it to the toilet. He made it to the sink. And vomit doesn't wash down the sink.
Not if there's chunks in it.
You have to scoop it out.
Yes. Depending on the prior meal. And knowing how Bert eats, there was some thicker.
So then as it continued, he moved to the toilet, missed the toilet, in the toilet, on the side of the toilet, on the wall.
I'm going to drink this. Yep.
And then instead of
he's going to love this.
Instead of shitting in the toilet and throwing up in a can, he threw up in the toilet and shit in his pants. So I came into the bathroom.
I can't wait till Bert hears this.
It was
a shit show, literally.
100% vomit and shit. Fuck, it looked like a crime scene.
No doubt.
And it smelled, you can only imagine. Because I also had shit in the factor, right? It was everywhere.
How did you not vomit?
I don't know. I think there's a part of my brain that can shut my shit down to the point where I probably could have been like a CIA operative.
No doubt.
Like I could have skinned a human alive. Probably. If someone said you need to do this, I'd go, all right, I'm just shutting the shit down. I'm
going to emotionally shut the shit down so I can get through it. We'll start at the top,
elevators go into the basement.
You're like, hold on, I'm just going to put that thing they do on the nose. I'm just
like
put Clarice. That menthol.
Totally. Clarice. No, I literally went, okay, well, all right.
And Bert's like, don't look.
And he kept going, hey, I'm so sorry, babe. I'm so sorry. I can't clean it up. If I clean it up, I'm going to keep vomiting.
I see. Doug was saying that. And this is the difference between your beautiful sweetheart and me. I'm like this. Shut up. Shut up. I don't want, if you talk, I'm going to vomit. I don't even want to think that you're speaking because if that's out of the same hole you just vomited out of, I can't. Don't say you're sorry. I would get mad. I'm getting mad as this poor guy. I'm such an asshole. But, and it's weird. It's not my natural instinct because I'm more motherly than I come across.
Yes,
I actually
you are. Very nurturing.
I got you.
Yep.
But there's the trifecta.
It's the trifecta.
Snot, shit, vomit.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm out.
No can do.
Time out. I'm out. The other room, I'm throwing a towel at you and I will not. Binky gets confused and he took a shit in the bedroom the other night on the ground. He starts doing his little circle because God forbid he knows where he wants to shit. And I'm like, I page Doug, Binky's shitting. And I run into the bathroom and I'm like, I need you to get it before I can smell it. And he goes, my husband can't smell anything. It's awful. Like, and I'm like, you have COVID? He's like, no. I'm like, he can't smell. I'm like, you can't hear or smell. You're like the dog. Now you're not going to see what's happening. And sure enough, dog shit, like human size shit, even 12 pounds is little shits, but you might as well have just had a horse shit because it stunk so bad. And I'm like, I'm going to throw up and I'm gagging. He's like, why do you throw up when it's not even here? I'm like, because I know it stinks. Before I even walk in the room.
I can imagine the stench.
I can picture it and I can gag. It's a problem. I have a gag reflex.
That's really funny.
Yeah. So 3 weeks ago, I'm sitting at a restaurant, breakfast. I go to this one breakfast place. I'm a creature habit. I'll eat the same thing every day, and I'll go to the same place every day.
The griddle, what?
Oh God, I love the griddle. You know, it moved.
It did?
Yes. And I know because last time I came, I get up early and I drive there and they're like, now over at
Yamashiro's?
Yes.
It moved to Yamashiro?
Up there.
Wow.
I drive up there and they're like, it's a 2-hour wait. I'm like, go snack.
And that restaurant up there is enormous.
Enormous. They do it just during the morning time because they were getting just hounded by homeless people and it was a problem.
Oh.
Best freaking pancakes ever.
Yeah, great pancakes there.
I'm still sad about it. But anyway, so I was at a place called Broken Egg that I go to every morning pretty much. And I'm sitting there. I'm on a Zoom conference call. I'll conduct some business stuff there. So I'm on my headsets and I'm talking to my business partner and our senior VP. And I'm just like, And I had a migraine earlier that day. So I took my medicine and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I just don't feel well. I don't feel well. I'm a little nervous. So I go, ladies, I'm going to mute myself and I might go off camera because I'm just feeling a little nauseous. No problem. Keep talking. All of a sudden, I'm sitting there and I take a sip of my iced tea and I'm like, I need to throw up.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to throw up. I've never had that overcome me. And the medicine that I take right now that I was telling you about outside is it can make you nauseous. And so, and I'm talking where I can be just driving and all of a sudden I'm like, hit up. And I'll be like, I'm going to throw up. Nope, don't throw up. And I can fight that throw up feeling.
Yeah.
God damn it, dude. I made it past the bar that they have and I'm walking and I vomit in my mouth.
Oh.
And I swallow it.
Oh, I hate that.
And then I took 4 more steps and it was uncontrollable.
Yeah.
It was projectile.
Yeah, you're
like I was 3 years old at a preschool or in kindergarten and had a tummy bug.
Yeah.
And I almost made it to their bathroom and I vomited on their door, their bathroom door. It hit me back in my face.
Oh my God.
And a woman was following behind me to go to the bathroom. And I just went, look away, look away. Don't come in here. She's behind me. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Look
Please
away.
look away. You don't want to see this. And she's like, oh God. And I'm like, no, it'll make you throw up. And in the bathroom was the manager of the store. And I opened the door and there's vomit now everywhere on the door, dripping down the door. You know, semi chunks. And I just look at her. It's on my sweater. I had a turtleneck. It's on my face.
Oh my God.
And I looked at her and she looked at me and she has a gag reflex problem too.
No
And she was
way.
like, oh, and she starts gagging. I go, I will clean this up. But unfortunately they had the wipes that when you dry your hands, you have to wave your hand in front of it. It gives you like an inch. And I'm going, ripping. And I'm like, oh my God, do you guys have anything that has more? And she was like, I'll clean it up. I'm like, you're not cleaning my vomit.
Yeah.
I can't do that to you. It was so embarrassing, but I learned that about myself. If you're going to throw up, so now I have a plastic little small bag if I ever, God forbid, because that was the most humiliating. It was like, I will never experience this again.
Yeah, that sounded awful.
I felt so much better afterwards.
Yeah.
But I felt awful. And then they all heard about it.
You know
at the
what you do?
restaurant.
Next flight?
What?
Take the barf bags.
Yeah.
Because
they have a lining in them. So
they do.
Yeah.
And they have like a little, you roll it over and you can tab it shut.
There
because
you go.
Isla's best friend, Lily Fromkin, is massively car sick.
Oh, she
massively. And so she's never thrown up in my car because I've always managed to pull over in time.
Wow.
But
it's
I was
that
like,
serious.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna grab these barf bags and I'm just gonna keep them like in the back seat.
Yeah.
So if anybody, I cart so many Girl Scouts around, and 2 or 3 of them get really bad.
And
car
in big
sick.
cars, it can really make them. Yeah.
And only one person can sit in the front with me.
Yeah.
So inevitably, 2 or 3 are in the back.
We're gonna have some barfers. Yeah, Doug gets car sick too.
But yeah, I stick them in all my cars.
You know that one time, Doug, we were on a plane ride and it got so turbulent and they went to land and they couldn't because of the wind in Asheville, small plane, and it went Meh, and it went to fly up again. He looked at me and I went, no. And he got that bag out. He looked like pale gray, like he did at Catalina going to your birthday thing. Same thing. He looked over at me and the eyes were that big and I went, don't you dare. Sure enough, he grabbed that bag and was like, "Blah," in the bag. And then what's happening to me next to him? I'm like,
You vomit, I vomit.
I'm
You
like,
vomit, I vomit.
I'm like, bag it up if I smell it. And then I get angry. Not on purpose. I can't control it. It's like all of a sudden I'm like, are you shitting me right now? Instead of being loving, like, oh my God, are you okay? No, I'm like, fucking kidding.
Do you see
This is what you're
doing
going to do? Do you see? And I'm gagging. And I'm like, this is a great couple here. I'm claustrophobic. You're barfing. That's hot. Get me off the goddamn plane. And they're like, we're going to put them on the no-fly list. No, it was just, it's a problem. It is. It happened. Like Avery sometimes when in her diaper, I was like, I can't tackle that one.
Yeah,
that's one that's going to get me over my, I'm going to
So
throw
what
up.
would you do? Would Doug do it?
Doug would get it because I would literally almost throw up. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was bad. I mean, he can't smell things as much as I can. My sense of smell and hear is like my mom's. She could smell a freaking anything and she could hear a freaking mouse fart in a room. Like she was that woman who'd be like,
right.
Did I just hear something? And I'm like, Mom, you're crazy. And then sure enough, something was like crawling. You'd be like, oh, that is a roach. It's great.
You did hear something.
You did, Mom. Good job.
So what did you just open? You didn't have a grand opening?
Oh yeah. We just opened 5
What?
Provide spa salons.
No.
Yeah, we did.
5?
5.
That's amazing. Where are they?
Yes, it is in, one is in North Bethesda, Maryland. One is in Arlington, Virginia, because they're all in the they're in the DMV area. It's like the DC Metro, Virginia, Maryland area. So what they were is these were the company Red Door. People know the Red Door Spa. Well, Red Door became Mind Spa, MYND. They changed and rebranded because they were no longer going to be able to use Elizabeth Arden.
Mm-hmm.
It was some kind of contractual agreement apparently, and they rebranded. We saw their rebranding and we're like, they didn't hit the mark. I mean, Elizabeth Arden was red lipstick, classic beauty, 150-year-old company or whatever. They had 28 spa locations called the Red Door. Then they became Mind. And then March 2020, they went bankrupt.
Oh, wow.
And they left all these locations. They, unfortunately, the CEO wrote an email to everybody, gave them less than 24 hours to go get their stuff.
Oh my God.
They locked the doors and these were huge spaces and they had just rebranded 2 years prior and they were killing it. They were doing great. I mean, maybe not to support their company, but we know what day spas are supposed to make and how they can afford themselves. And in February of 2021, we found out that they went bankrupt in 2020. And Alana and I spoke about it. And I said, these spas are sitting there empty.
Yeah.
Literally sitting there empty.
Right.
They've been rebranded and all the FF&E, all the furniture, fixtures, equipment, the supplies are just sitting there.
No way.
Everything. They had just alone the equipment is $200,000 sitting there, rotting. They even had, when we went and toured all of them, they had wine glasses with wine in them still because people had
They
left.
just locked the door.
They were done.
Oh,
they locked
my
the door.
God.
And it was really devastating to us seeing it. It looked like a tornado went off in some because the staff just started taking stuff,
Yeah.
In other ones, it made us sad because you're just seeing people's lives that had worked there 20 years, gone. They had no idea it was coming. Some had started predicting because they weren't buying enough product supplies at the end. And so we had an opportunity to renegotiate those leases and get some really good terms. And we rebranded them and they're Provide Spa Salons now. And we just opened, the first one we opened up at Pike and Rose in North Bethesda, Maryland. Beautiful space though. Beautiful and huge. I was like, some of these are 7,500 square feet.
Jesus.
A lot of salons.
That's huge.
It is that's a big space.
Yeah.
And you pay something per square footage. You're like, So the hardest part I would say, and the biggest kick in the nuts for us has been staffing has been, I mean, you see it everywhere here.
Yeah.
I mean, when I drove to here, when I flew in and got Avis, I mean, there's like 50 people waiting for their car because there's 3 people working at 27 stations.
Yeah.
I just don't know where everybody is.
I don't either.
I don't understand it. I mean, we have people even here where we're trying to get a front desk person and people are like, I want $22 an hour. And they've never worked in a spa. They don't. And I'm like, how does that justify? You're going to pay $100 for a cheeseburger eventually. I mean, like, it will.
It is crazy. TaskRabbit, to get somebody, a TaskRabbit person is $65 an hour to have someone assemble a piece of furniture.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Really?
Wow.
$65.
So what do you think is going
an
to cost you for
hour?
a plumber? A plumber's going to be $450 an hour.
Yeah,
then.
right.
I mean, it's just, and and Avery will go to debate into this world about inflation and how, I get it, the minimum wage never raised up enough and enough time span. And the thing that's hard is I keep telling Avery, I'm like, but the people that are affected by this, other than the staffing, of course, and the employees, is those owners of small businesses.
Mhm.
They cannot, there's not enough profit margin. We're not all Shell oil companies.
Yeah, right.
And we can't be treated like we're Shell oil.
Yeah.
We're not keeping the minimum wage where it is, but you make the minimum wage what it needs to be for people, obviously, to survive. And I get that. I'm like, my fear is, an example, when I moved here, I worked 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to live in LA.
The same here. I did the same.
There was
I did the same.
I didn't work 32 to 40 hours and call it a day. I worked 80 hours because that's what you had to do if you wanted the lifestyle to live here. Or you live an hour and a half out and you go live further out and you take a bus in. I mean, but I get it. And she was talking about, I go, but I couldn't have been a dishwasher or wherever I was in a company and expect to make what you make when you've paid your dues and you've worked. And I get it. It's the problem is big corporations and that can afford and should have afforded. The problem is that it's not one fits all.
No,
and
it's not.
Each state is different. And, you start getting into that level and I get it. It's hard. It's hard to have a conversation, especially with my daughter, because she's got a job at Target now and she's just started and $16 an hour. And I look at her, I'm just like, this sounds awful. You don't deserve to make $16 an hour at 17 years old.
Yeah.
Are you supporting yourself? You got 3 kids?
Yeah.
And if you did have that, Avery, at whatever, that's your choice.
Yeah.
You chose to have 3 kids, let's say, some didn't choose. Well, I mean, now you start getting down into birds and the bees
a different rabbit hole.
100%.
Yeah.
And I get
Different
that.
rabbit
And
hole.
I just tell her, I'm just like, Avery, but you can't broad brushstroke people and things. And, I told her, I go, well, what if you find out that you can't afford that phone? It goes bye-bye. Or you get another job that you work on your skill
Or you
level.
get a different phone. There's lots of different ways to skin that.
You don't get to have Netflix.
Rabbit. I think it is hard for kids these days to wrap
that's what
their
we
head
sound
around
old
that.
Parents.
I know, right? But it is true. I worked 3 jobs too. I managed an apartment building. I waited tables at Lowry's. I sold Avon.
That's right.
And I was writing.
That you do whatever. It's how do you afford the life that you see? How do you get in front of it? How do you get out of your own way?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you have grit, man? And
Grit
I've heard some
is
people
the
talk
thing.
about that. I've heard people
Mhm.
bag on the word grit, and I'm like, I don't
No,
know.
no. Grit.
I like grit.
I think grit is the most important virtue.
It is,
You
and I think
have
we
to
have
have
youth that don't have grit, and I understand why. My daughter doesn't have grit. Why? I think part of it's her personality. Part of it is Asperger's. Part of it is just who she is as a person. Part of it's me. Part of it's Doug.
Yeah.
We've helicoptered. I get that now. I always knew it. I have 1 kid too. She never even had to work. Kids that have 5 kids in their family, they got some grit. Why? Because they're like, you're doing the goddamn dishes.
Yeah.
Shut your pie hole.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a level of complacency and Avery and I will go toe to toe on some of these just together because she can't see it through the lens. She's never owned a company. He says she doesn't want to ever own a company. Because of what she's seen me go through and what I've done. And I'm like, I would never change it.
Well, there's something to be said. Let's flip the coin over. I think not everyone, and I don't mean this as a negative, not everyone is meant to own a company.
Right.
Not everyone wants that.
Correct.
A lot of people in this country just want to go to work and go home.
Absolutely.
And make enough money to live comfortably. Not comfortably meaning I have every brand new, I'm driving a Mercedes, whatever.
No.
Just comfortably, just not have to worry about their basic and more than their basic needs. Hey,
Sure.
we want to go to a Braves game. We can afford to do that.
Sure.
We
Not
want to go to
everything
the
is
movies.
so strapped and stressful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not extravagance, just to be able to enjoy your life.
Yeah.
I mean, enjoying your life can be going fishing, and that can be really inexpensive once you have make the
your
initial
rod,
investment of buying a pole and a tackle
Or you go
box.
naked and afraid. You learn how to carve one out of the bone.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
But you don't have to go that basic.
Correct.
But I don't know what the answer is to both of your arguments, because it is, we don't know, more than I do what it's like to live from living in a motel. Yeah. I was never at that place. I was never home insecure or food insecure, ever. Now, I lived in trailers, but they were a trailer my dad owned. Yeah. And I was secure in my living.
It's poor and don't know you're poor, right? Because it's just,
I had no idea.
No idea.
I was completely comfortable. I never felt like anything was in danger or we were insecure in any way. So, but there are people who I think can't figure out how to get out of this place. Yeah. And I think that's something neither you nor I could possibly understand. Yeah. Because I've never been in a place where I couldn't get out of something.
That's right.
Because I'm scrappy. Yeah. And I'm resourceful and I'm smart and I'll fucking work 5 jobs if I have to. But there are people that are fragile or are limited. Yeah. And I have just recently started having this perspective where I went, there are people who are going to work at Walmart for their whole life and be the happiest people on this planet.
Absolutely.
And that is amazing.
It is amazing because you have the juxtaposition of the multi-million-dollar person who is tucking themselves in bed high as a kite because they hate their lives so much.
Exactly.
So it's
about happiness and
what defines happiness
and what
for
defines
you.
Happiness. And it doesn't have to be the same for everybody. It just, some people just want to punch a clock and go home and watch TV and eat dinner.
And God bless them, because there have to be soldiers and there have to be generals. Because if everybody was a general, everybody would be chasing their own tail.
It'd be ridiculous.
If everybody was a soldier, you'd have no direction.
That's right.
And I believe in that. I believe I'm
and one's
grateful.
Not better than the other because the general's got nothing without a soldier.
Absolutely. There's nothing without it.
Nothing.
There's a synergy. It's a dance.
There is a synergy, and one is no less important than the other.
Correct.
It's just about your skill set and your drive.
Yes.
And your desire.
Yeah.
And I hate it when people look down on someone who chooses something like vocational school instead of college.
Yeah, right.
Or chooses to and just is the wrong word, who chooses a job that they commit to for life that makes them happy.
That's right.
That doesn't make them $1 million.
Absolutely. To me, it's like, be happy.
Admirable.
Be happy what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Be a good person.
Yeah. Contribute in the manner. Take care of your kid. If you're going to have kids, you have a responsibility. Raise them to treat everybody. I would even say not equal. I would treat them better than you even would treat yourself.
Yeah,
That's a hard lesson for people to learn. Yeah, to give back. I mean, some of the poorest people are the most giving. You've seen those ones where they have hidden cameras on homeless people that are willing to give the person that just came to them half of their pizza or something.
Everything they have. Yeah.
And that's, to me.
But the other side of the coin, the other side is, it is very difficult for a small business owner who doesn't even want to be a millionaire per se, just wants to run that local hardware store, do a good job, make a decent living, and still have to pay for all their employees' insurance, for all of their liability stuff, for a decent living wage. And at the end of the day, how do you make both of those people happy? The only way you can do that is to make the price of goods in a way that your profit can justify paying people a right amount. Yeah. And now the price of goods is higher. And now now
customers are looking at Yelp going, that steak is more expensive than that one. I'll go to that one.
Exactly. Yeah. And that one is at the big box store who can just pay
the
whatever.
Minimum. That's right. And that is a chicken or the egg. Chicken or the egg. It is. It's a vicious cycle.
Terrible.
And
how do you fix it?
Yeah. Dude, if we knew that, Elon Musk would be getting a run for his own money. I don't know, because, I'm still considered small business, to a degree, because we're not medium sized. Like, we're not large, obviously, and we're not medium sized, because I don't know what defines what anymore. But I just know that it's very hard to find. In our industry, it got annihilated, right? I mean, half the massage schools closed down for good. There weren't any students. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people left our industry, the spa industry, because it's personal touch. It's one of the only industries that you can't digitize. You can't digitize human touch.
Right.
Right. You can't, it's like Bert, like you can't digitize comedy.
Right.
It's the person's brain. It's the way they say it. It's how they say it. It's the human element of it.
Yeah.
It's the human touch. The problem is that when humans become unaware or uninterested in touching people or wanting that connection or not realizing they need it, you have people with less interest for it, but the demand is there. The demand is there, but the interest in providing it is where we've seen a drop off. And I just hope that people can fall back in love with, you don't need to go to college. You can go to a vocational school. I don't believe college should be free, but I do believe your AA, and I do believe like a trade school. I think that should be a way to earn it, get it for free. I mean, financial aid is available. We know that, but there's a level of like, there's parts of that I agree with. I don't agree a 4-year college should be free. Personally, I just, it's like, so what's going to happen to me that I paid for that?
I don't think I agree that 4-year college should be free, but I think any technical school,
absolutely,
any 2-year degree, should be free.
I agree,
because
all day long.
That is how you create middle class.
It is. It's how you grow people who didn't even know they wanted more.
Exactly.
Because I do believe there's some generational things in there.
Of course.
Then you start getting deep into
and
like
cultural,
generational.
And,
Then you talk about, disparages between, black and white and how, war on drugs and how that swooped in and took away 80% of the male convicts were African-American men between the ages of 18 to 25. I mean, you start pulling up, then now you've got a rip dynamic of family and they've already proven the family equating to then drugs. And now you concrete jungle everybody by putting them wrapped in concrete because you're not going to waste any land on greenery. I mean, psychologically, what does that do to people? So I know you and I have talked about this before, but just, you start getting into the psychological aspect, the sociological, all of that will have impact. And that's what we're seeing that and how it plays out. And, we're a relatively newer country.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
And it's never been done before to our level and our size. And we're still in an incubator type stage still. And I mean, Rome fell for a reason.
Yeah. I think about that quite a lot.
Yeah. It's scary. I mean, there's books on it and it's a little unnerving because, I don't like to think too much about it because I don't know what I can contribute to make that change and really have an impact, except other than employing people, inspiring people to follow their passion and be there as a sounding board and an advisor and a mentor as best I can and try to contribute to society that way and use human touch and through beauty and body and blend the two.
Right.
I mean, because we know historically women, they choose where the money goes in the household. If you're looking at it, and we are broad brush stroking right now, but if you're looking at it through the lens of that, you can go, okay, women are choosing where the vacations are, what hotel they're going to stay at, what restaurants they're going to eat at, what spas they're going to go to, like all that stuff that's considered luxury, but also has become part of the whole self-care reflection that we have to do that or we're not going to be good for our mates and good for our families. Not meaning you got to go get your nails done in order to be a good person contributing.
Yeah, right.
But there is a level, if you talk to women and men about how do they feel after they've been touched in a obviously positive, healthy way, or I used to, and when I lived here in LA, if I had a bad day or I didn't get a part or something happened, because it's all in LA, it was all about yourself. It's very self-absorbed. You had to be. I would go get my nails done or I would go get my hair done because I would feel better. And it was vanity, but there was a level of like,
but it's not really vanity.
They're talking to me, they're touching me. No, it was therapy. It was my therapy.
It's not vanity. The side effect was vanity.
Sure. Yeah. The impact.
It on the outside, on the surface.
Yeah. There was an ego boost in it. But if I didn't have that, what kind of spiral would happen if I didn't?
Totally. Yes.
Would I eat?
And it's a healthy way of putting some salve on a bad day.
Yeah, I love
You know?
I love that. I love that. That
Yeah.
is, you're right. You're healing the cracked heel.
Yeah, exactly. You got
Yeah.
to put some salve on a bad day. Some people do it with ice cream.
Yeah.
Some people do it with working out. Some people do it with drugs and alcohol.
Yep,
Some
yep.
people do it with a
Yeah.
mani-pedi.
That's right. And there's something to be said about, again, you and I going back to just the first topic when we sat down about the no judgment. You know, I believe, and this was why we made them provide spa salons, was it's wellness for the whole being.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a no judgment zone, meaning, you know, we're going to probably bring in medical spa operation stuff where women can get Botox, women can, and men, obviously, or non-binary. I don't care.
Yeah.
To me,
a person,
to each his own. It's as long as you're not hurting yourself and you're not
Yeah.
hurting anybody else. I don't give a shit.
No, right.
I want you to find, the goal is we provide a space that encourages you to express yourself, to feel nurtured and cared for and loved on, and that you leave feeling better than when you came in.
Mm-hmm.
And whether that means beautiful, heard, that you could be quiet for an hour and no judgment, just no judgment zone.
Yeah.
And there's something I love about that. And I think our goal, I created these little bamboo towelette things that they're at every one of our Provide spa salons, where you come in and it's the first thing you get is this beautiful embossed little bamboo towelette. It's eco-friendly because you can throw it away. It's biodegradable, but it's been infused with jojoba and our scent for Provide, lavender vervain. And they pour it with the cutest little creamer and the cutest little mini rose gold tongs, because you know I'm a nut for that stuff.
Yes.
It's this beautiful little tray, like almost like a sake dish, and you pour it in there and you cleanse your day. And the idea of it is, can't we all feel like we're world class and being served first class? Because you deserve that. And there was a level of how do we create this and recreate it? And
that's really beautiful.
oh, I love it. And people are really responding.
Yeah,
to it.
they should, because, you know, those simple, small things really do make you feel first class.
Yeah, it costs us 15 cents.
I was going to say it probably costs you less than 50 cents.
Yep.
And it's just about mindfulness.
Yeah.
And how does this offering affect you?
Yeah.
In a positive way.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
I love it. It was the idea came from, you know, in the lucky moments in my life where I've gotten, you know, to experience a spa that's really just Mac Daddy incredible. There's something, you know, a lot of places they'll do a foot ritual or a cleansing ritual. And I was like, okay, but in a day spa setting or a spa salon, you don't get that. And what I wanted to take away from it was Red Door was known for just being the stellar 5-star type of day spa, brick and mortar experience, but they're gone. And, you know, it hurt a lot of people. A lot of people were left with thousands of dollars of gift cards that they can never redeem.
Oh,
and we can't
no.
accept those,
Yeah.
of course, because we don't have access. We give people a discount when they come in that have a gift card, but you know, it's never going to be to the value of that gift card ever.
Sure.
But what we found is it's a way for people to take the day that they're walking in with, whether that's good or bad, or they've had, you know, the kid just barfed on them, or they just, you know, heard some bad news or even good news. It's celebratory, it's healing. And the idea is to invigorate their sensory perception. And because it's a smell, it smells amazing. And it's just something nice. And I think the goal was, it's a cleansing ritual. And we just want people to take a moment. They've chosen to take their hard-earned money and spend it for an hour or more in our facility. And we are so fortunate to have them, and so fortunate that the team member or provider has chosen to stay at our space. I mean, I've never been so appreciative of employees and our contractors, because we just can't seem to find enough to match the demand.
Right.
And that's hard, because you're just like,
yeah.
how do you get past that? And we're still, I mean, 2 years in, we are still trying. So
you've had those 5 spas for 2 years?
no, but our other spas are still struggling too, getting
yeah.
massage therapists to be willing to come back or even go to a school for it. It's just interesting how every industry of spa that is touching that kind of, they've lost so many staff.
That's
even
crazy.
in management for it. Yeah, I don't know where everybody went. I don't know.
Why? I mean, why? There's got to be a why.
There was a lot of fear. Remember, we all thought we were going to die.
But it started before that.
It did. People were having a hard time finding therapists before that. I think, and this is just a shot in the dark, my 2 cents. I think there is a generation behind us that don't want to touch people, and they don't want to be touched. They've been raised by electronics, and they get their dopamine and their respite, which is false respite, is from a little 4x2-inch screen.
Yeah.
Where it's, my daughter would argue that it's not real relationships. She thinks it is. Okay. But I've been in long distance relationships too.
Yeah.
And they're not as real as in your face.
Yeah.
You know, when someone can break up with you via text or dump you and all that, never see and feel the impact and have a reflection and see your body language in your face and see what it feels like for someone's lip to start quivering because you hurt them. Like, if you've never experienced that, it don't penetrate you.
You're right. You know, it's so funny. We went on a cruise. We went on a Carnival cruise a couple years ago.
You did?
We did.
Oh, you got those margaritas.
We did. The margaritas, as my dad calls them. The margaritas.
I think I remember seeing pictures of that.
We got the margaritas. And Bert was like, y'all should go. Well, he didn't say y'all. He said, you should go to the spa and get massages, all 3 of you. And it was the first time the girls had ever gotten a massage. And they've never gotten one since.
My daughter has never had one and doesn't want it.
I'm like, how do you not want
Avery
a massage?
hates it. Avery doesn't want her feet touched. Like, I went to get her pedicure. She hated it. Done. Never again.
But you know what's funny? For Valentine's Day this year, Bert had a mani-pedi person come to our house as a treat. He just surprised us. He was like, guess what's happening now? It was like 9:00 at night.
He was probably so excited
He
about
was
that.
so
He was
excited.
chomping at the bit.
He was really cute. He sat in the living room with us and talked to us all through.
He
all
didn't
of
get
our
one
mani-
either?
No,
I'm
didn't.
surprised.
He did not get one. It was for us. So Isla was like, no, I don't want one. And I'm like, are you sure, Dad? This is like your Valentine's gift from Dad. You should get one.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, I'll get my feet done, but not my fingers. And in the middle, I watch her start out really nervous, very chatty. She, you know, when they were little, before what you're talking about, the screen took over, before they had phones, because my kids didn't get phones till they went to middle school.
Same here. Avery was in middle school, late middle school. Yeah.
Middle school. Mine was in middle school because they went to a middle school that had 1,800 students, and I wanted to be able to find them.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
I was like, guess what you're getting?
And you're in California. And, you know, it's a
You're
little scary.
getting happy graduation from 5th grade.
That's
you now
right.
have a cell
now
phone.
you have a cell phone, and I'm going to control it and watch it. And,
I did.
Yeah, of
and
course.
then at a certain point, you don't.
Who has time?
But we used to get mani-pedis all the time when they were little.
Oh, yeah, me
and
too.
then it stopped. I never made the connection, but it did stop
Puberty.
at puberty.
Yeah.
And then now, but Isla so thoroughly enjoyed that mani-pedi.
Did
And
she?
I think Georgia just got her feet done maybe. But Isla went from being uncomfortable to the end of it really enjoying it. And I thought, it's the jumping into the pool that's hard for them. It's not swimming.
Yeah, no.
Once they jump in the pool, they're okay. It's the jumping that they have to, no, I don't want that. You have to really push them into, well, guess what? A massage therapist is here and we're going to get one.
That's right. And
You know?
Avery is, you know, the sensory thing is for real. So I had to
Oh,
learn, and
Isla
I didn't
has it
know that.
too.
You got it. Yep. So you know, and it's just, it tickles. She doesn't like it, and she doesn't like to be tickled at all. And what she does like, though, and you know what I've learned with her is I just have to ask permission.
Yeah,
And
same with Isla.
And that goes back to the night that I broke down about a year and a half ago, where I cried to Doug and just said, well, I think it's when Avery kind of said, I think I'm bisexual. And, you know, and I just was like, and my cry was, she says she doesn't want kids. I don't know if she'll even be in a relationship to get married. So I don't get that. I don't, you know, it was like, I'm going to be selfish and I'm going to vomit right now. And Doug was he was cool. He heard me. And I just cried like a baby. I was just like, she don't want to ever be a cheerleader. She doesn't even dance good. She doesn't want to talk. She doesn't want to love on me. I can't
sing.
She doesn't sing anymore. I told her to just play
play
piano. She's like, I hate it. I'm like, everything that I love that defines me, or that I think defines me, you know, even just being someone that is an empath and care, the caring side. And I don't get that. So I just had this, selfish moment of like, mourning the fact that the picture that I had, but I followed it up after I did my emotional vomit on Doug about it and cried. I said, but I also didn't get the kid who is sneaking out, hooking up with boys.
That's right.
I don't
Boy,
get the
let me
kid
tell you,
doing
that
drugs,
would make you
smoking.
crazy.
Well, I said I'd shave her head and she'd be at a military school. I've told her that. I said, because she said that once, like, well, at least I'm not, blah, blah. I said, well, because could you imagine me parenting that? I'd be in jail. And the only reason why the catalyst for me not go to jail, the reason why you said something earlier about what did you say? And I was thinking in that moment, like, oh, the fighter. What keeps me from throwing hands?
Yeah.
How do I control that?
Yeah.
Is I am claustrophobic and I would never make it in jail.
That keeps you out of jail.
It's not the fact it would ruin my reputation, all that. Okay, I deal with that. I'd reinvent myself, I'm sure. I also would own them bitches in jail. I'd have them crocheting the shit for me. I'd be like, my feet are cold, make it. Because I'd make them laugh, but I'd make them fear me just enough.
You're so right.
Right?
You
and
know
I would be
the
like,
whole place.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, I'll do stand up on Saturdays for us all. Like it's a popcorn party. Before that, you're going to do this. But then I think it's because honestly, Doug and I've talked about this. I'm like, I couldn't go to jail because as soon as they even put me where they lock something, I'd go to a mental institution because they'd be, no. Would they go, lock room number 10,
lights out, 10 p.m.
Lights are not going out. I need the light on. Where's the night light? Where's the window? Now they don't even have the bars on the window. They have the fucking doors with the window that's this big.
Yeah, right.
I'd be like this. Let me out. I have had nightmares that, like, oh, I get caught with pot or something or whatever. And I'm like, don't put me in jail.
I can't do it. I
can't put me in the psych ward, but you got to knock me out. Straight jacket. It'd be a problem. So that's kind of why I can't throw hands at all. Because I have the moment of clarity of like, you go to jail and you'll be in a small cell and you're claustrophobic. Death, I'm out.
Oh my God.
It's bad.
Well, congratulations on your 5 spas.
Yeah. I mean, that's
amazing.
It was a lot.
Are you amazed at yourself?
No.
Why?
No.
You should be.
Well,
think about I think about this with myself quite often. That little girl who never wore shoes, who lived in a trailer park, who went back and forth from mom and dad, who grew up on, it was a dirt road, I think, when I started growing up there, is here now.
Where's that, Darden?
Bowden.
Bowden, not Darden. That's right.
Bowden, I can't, now I'm here.
Yeah.
And nothing's wrong with Bowden.
Mm-mm.
They're just so very different.
Yeah.
It's like, I may as well be in like Syria sometimes. I feel like the difference is so drastic. Yeah. Do you ever feel like that?
No, but I will tell you that I've had moments of self-reflection thinking, what ifs? What if, because my mom was a survivor. I mean, she just hustler. You do it. And that's where I get that from for sure.
Yeah.
My dad's not that way. He's more collegiate. He got his master's in criminology and worked his way up. He's loyal. He was a cop and he just grew that and became a chief. Brilliant mind. Very methodical. I mean, like I see a lot in common with my father now that I'm older. When him and I talk, we can talk for hours and he's so smart. And
that's great.
My mom is more, she's not very deep. So we go more on that like topical.
Yeah.
She's more emotional, but she isn't, there's not a lot of depth. Like she won't go there.
Yeah.
You won't hit the mat, but my dad can, but yet he's not very emotional.
Yeah.
Weird. But I look back and I just go, my brother and I both, because we were, tossed around a little bit with, I'd never lived with my dad, but I would have to visit every weekend. And then we moved so much. I lived in Canada. Then my mom, her first husband was a piece of shit. And then thank God she married Aldo because he's a great man. And he's been there 35 years of my life.
Yeah.
So I think that all those moving parts played out the way they were supposed to, or I don't know how it could have gone.
Yeah.
I grew up with a codependent mom. She always was in a relationship. I mean, she was married, dating a married man for a while. I mean, I remember that because she was so lonely and needed men to validate that. And you understand that world with your mother. And I had a little bit of that in me too,
Mm-hmm.
where I always had a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even young, I started having a boyfriend, and then then I'd have another boyfriend. I was always very loyal. I was never two at one time, but I just remember thinking, I'm going down this path very
Mhm.
similar to my mom. My best relationships before Doug were long distance. Why? Because I could live my life. I'm loyal as the day is long. I'll never cheat. That's me. But I can live my life.
Yeah.
And they don't get to really know me
Yeah.
that way.
Super
I'm always
safe.
perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm perfect. I'm funny. I would be smart, cute when I needed to be, and then they'd leave,
Yeah.
and I would write letters, but it was all romanticized.
Yeah.
'Cause I had a white picket fence in my head, but Joey, my first boyfriend, I was 18. He said, I should marry you, and I just think about that going. I would have left college in 7 seconds flat if he asked me to marry him. I would have moved to Pennsylvania. He was in the military, and I would be miserable.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how everything landed, how it did and maneuvered. I've always been a go-getter and driven like you, like just eye on the prize. But I don't think I look and go, gosh darn it.
You really
You've
did
done
something
great.
here, Christina.
Hey,
You really got some stuff done here.
that Stuart smile like, and people like me.
And people like me. No, but maybe you should. Just for a minute.
It's hard because it walks, it is. It's a thing of, it's a self-deprecating thing, right? It's a, you never want, look, if it hit the mat and someone was like, no, seriously, are you proud of yourself? I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm proud of myself.
Well, yeah.
Do you think how great you are? I'd be like, no. There's a weird something about my brain that says it's one thing to say, no, I'm proud of what I've accomplished. I'm proud that I've been lucky, and a lot of it has been self-guided. I also believe in God, and I believe there's some divine intervention in there. But throw me in a different scenario, put me in a different country, put me somewhere else. I don't know. Right. I would hope that Doug and I have talked about that. Pluck yourself up and put you somewhere else. Could you reinvent? Could you make yourself how, who are you? And I don't know. I would think as I am sitting here right now, I would be okay anywhere unless you put me in like third world country where women are viewed. Then I'd have to go away because I would get killed within 5 seconds as soon as I open my mouth.
Yeah, totally.
No, the moment someone says, no, you need to cover everything but your eyeballs, I'd be like, bro, we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, right.
You just shouldn't. You're not allowed to show beyond your hands. I'd be like, you or me are gonna die. Which one is it gonna be? Old West. We'll go old school style, and I won't count to 3 because I'm gonna cheat it and go 2.5. But I don't know. It's weird. Like, how does Bert feel about that? Like, because Bert and I are very similar in a lot of ways in that.
About how he got where he is?
Is he proud of himself? Does he have those moments of like, fuck yeah, or
every once in a while, something that one of the things I brought away from our acting lessons
back at Beverly Hills Playhouse,
yes, is to mark your successes.
Yes.
That it's very important to pop that cork and say,
I do not do that.
Did this.
No, Alana and I suck at that.
I make Bert do that. And
I know
Bert
you do.
Now
You're
does,
good at
I don't
that.
have to make Bert do that anymore. In the beginning, I used to say, no, you need to mark that. Like when I sold my first screenplay, I bought myself a diamond necklace.
Right.
Because every time I put that necklace on, I know what that was for.
That's great.
I earned that necklace with something that I did that I am very proud of.
Yes.
Second screenplay I bought a pair of vintage Lenox crystal gold rim champagne, wine, and water goblets.
I love that it's so specific that
Because
you knew exactly.
I knew exactly what I wanted because I was like, I want to, every time I pour myself a glass of wine, I want to say thank you.
See, that's beautiful.
That's the second time I accomplished something I set out to do that meant a great deal to me. And even when I have a soda, I pour it in the wine and I drink it because that I bought those glasses. I wanted to buy something with the second monumental thing that I would use more often than the necklace.
Of course.
So that I could be aware of my gratitude.
Yeah.
more regularly. So I drink out of one of those glasses almost every day. If I don't have a glass of wine, I have a glass of water. If not water, I have soda. I have something out of one of those glasses. And I do pause every time. And I'm like so proud of that accomplishment. Not proud in an egotistical way, proud in a gracious, grateful, mindful way where I know what it took to get this glass.
Yeah.
And I did it. So
that's huge. And, just so we're clear, you need to write a book on that.
a whole book on that.
I'm
How
not
about
kidding.
a pamphlet? I think it's just a pamphlet.
Flip notes? No, I'm not kidding. Like, I think you could.
Gratitude is so fucking important. Two things.
It is.
Grace and gratitude. That is my creed. Grace and gratitude. If you can approach everything in your life with those two things in mind, then you will be doing your very best. It doesn't mean that you will be right or perfect or that you won't make mistakes. But if that's your intention, to approach it with grace and gratitude, then it's really hard to go wrong.
That's true.
And I do think that one piece that Beverly Hills Playhouse, one of the pieces I left with a lot from that place. Yeah. But one of them was to mark your successes, to really mark them.
Yeah.
And mark them, for me, it meant to mark them with something that continues to mark itself when it's really important.
Absolutely.
Obviously, sometimes you pop a cork, you drink, you go, woo, and then that's done.
Right.
But for those two things, for the two screenplays that I sold, I wanted that reminder.
Yeah. I could see that. Alana and I talk about this, my business partner. We call it celebrating the wins, obviously. And we suck at it. We have always sucked at it. We get a big gig. We get that contract over our competitor, and we'd be like, we got to celebrate this. We have talked for 16 years about going to a resort spa thing, because it's our world, and going in and taking like 4 or 5 days and having every cuisine, doing yoga, a retreat. Yeah. I've never done it. We've talked about it incessantly. Matter of fact, I'm going to remind her that we have been talking about it, but I have only done it a couple times in my life that I can remember. When I got my songwriting publishing deal after the pop group was over, I bought myself my first, I bought an SUV. I bought a Yukon. Yeah. It was the most money I'd ever spent on anything. I was like, oh my God. And I remember driving out of that damn place with that car, and I was sitting up high, and I was like, you have arrived, motherfucker.
Yes, that's right.
I remember pulling up next to people and inside, I'm like, what am I saying? It's not like I'm in a Maserati, right? I'm in a Yukon.
For you, it may as well have been.
It was like a Porsche to me.
Yeah.
And see, Doug really struggles with celebrating wins. He doesn't like the attention on himself.
Yeah.
But I try to get him to celebrate the wins. I talk about it. I don't even do it, but I try to get him to, because he's worse than me.
Yeah.
And I would say when we built our home, every once in a while I'll pull up to our home and I'll go, fucking earned that.
Yeah.
Earned it. Earned our stripes on that. But we spent the first year living in the home feeling like we were imposters, had imposter syndrome. I'm not kidding. I remember us eating takeout, sitting at the dining room table, looking across from each other. And I go, does it feel weird? And he goes, it's just really big. There's a lot of ceiling height. And I'm like, well, you designed it.
It's your fault.
And he's like, I just feel like, and I'm like, listen, I'm just the poor kid that lived in an apartment building most of my life, that had fleas jump out of my hair in 4th grade, and I'll never forget it. And I was so scared that someone saw it because I was at a new school.
Oh my God.
And I remember, we had the Charlie Brown Christmas tree kind of thing where it was like, wah, 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 wah. We're like, are we putting something on the top? My mom always made sure we felt important. But, look, when you single mom, there's no, what do you call that? When they get divorced, alimony coming in, it's
no
just her, and she's a hustler. And I just remember having those moments of and I don't even remember thinking to myself, I don't want to live like this. This is what we knew. Yeah. Like you're talking about dirt poor, barefoot, dirty feet, you know, in the trailer, and it's hot as Hades in Georgia and Florida. And you don't think about it until you have moments of clarity of Mine was more about, I do not want to be married 3 times.
Yeah. No, same.
I don't want to be a divorcee. I don't want to
Same.
turn around and be 45, 50 years old and go, what have I been doing?
Yeah, same. Well, I thought too, I didn't want to have kids and have them ever feel the way I felt after my parents divorced.
Mm.
I felt
How old were you?
7.
Mm.
And I felt so many things. It's such a breaking thing.
Yeah.
A divorce breaks things.
Oh, yeah.
And I think at any age, really,
Sure.
even 20s and 30s when your parents divorce, it breaks so much. So I thought, I don't want to ever do that to another person.
Right.
Not that you ever enter into a marriage thinking, this is forever and ever and ever and ever. You can't, I couldn't really think like that. I had to think like the foundation is good, so it's going to stand forever.
That's
but,
right.
we'll weather whatever storm.
Yeah, you'll have to patch some cracks and get through it.
But this is good. I don't see this going anywhere.
Right.
But not in an arrogant way of being, this is forever and ever and ever and ever. Because I think that's the mistake a lot of people make when they enter a marriage, is to think this is, I don't know. Anyway.
I hear you. Yeah. It is the balance between forever and ever and ever and ever, amen, which is the Cinderella complex feeling, or making sure you're not walking out and being like, well, we can always get divorced, right? So it's like right in the center of the two, where you're like,
in the middle, where you
just
go,
be smart about it.
Divorce is always possible. Hey, if Bert hit me, I'm sorry, I'm leaving. We're breaking everything up. But he would never do that. It's completely against any of his value system.
Yeah.
He would never do that.
You didn't marry someone like that.
No, that he's not that kind of fighter.
No.
He fights more like
You're
this.
like,
please don't hit me. Please don't hit me.
Now I may bust his cap.
Right.
I'm gonna bust a cap in his ass every once in a while.
But
he's more scared about if Leanne ever hit me.
I
You're
know,
like,
right?
What? You're like,
he always says, you ever hit me, I would knock you out. And I go, I'd like to see it.
you're like,
I'd love to see
remember,
that.
I'm at a 2.
I know.
You get to 10.
Not that he's not manly. He is.
He's a big dude.
He's been in fights like in college, but I just don't see him.
I would see him trying to get himself out of that.
Yeah, I think so. But at some point, push comes to shove, and you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. You guys should do that. You should do that.
Yeah, we should celebrate.
The thing about it is, I think it makes a permanent mark on your inside.
Yeah. Well, it's gratitude. It's making sure you take and pay some respect to the sacrifice also that got you there. I mean, I think I've definitely had moments of that where I know I've had to sacrifice a lot of time and attention on my family, and I regret. I don't have a lot of regrets in my life. That one's a tough one because I don't know what it did or didn't do for Avery. It could have made her stronger if I had been there all the time and not striving to want to do what I have done. Well, I don't know how. I can't see how life would have been different because we can't look backwards and see. But I think, going back to your question about how's he going to look when she's gone out of the house, the hardest thing for me right now, it reminds me of when she went to preschool. I said, she was 2.5, going to preschool. She will never take a nap. I was telling them, she ain't ever going to take a nap. I can tell you right now, because she doesn't have her little whoopee. She doesn't have her little bear. She's never going to take a nap. She won't have her little pawpaw. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
No, she napped just fine. What? How did she nap? It's impossible. She was faking it. There's no way. I'm telling you. Okay. Next one. Okay. She's never going to eat the food there. She is never going to eat that damn food at that preschool. Never going to happen. Did she eat today? Yep. She gobbled it up. What? I don't. Hold on. Are you talking about Avery Stratton? The one that I brought today? Not another one? Nope. She loved it. Avery, did you love the food? Mm-hmm. What? Okay. That's how I feel. I feel that I'm having moments of like, how is she going to adapt? How is
you
she
mean
gonna
once
adapt?
she launches, she's going to adapt just fine? Is that what you mean?
That is my hope, but I'm in the fear part of the preschool of she never going to do it. The worrying,
I
the
see
stressing.
what you mean. I know
where she is.
You're in the
every night.
anticipation.
She is every night. I can look. I know that's her light on. I know where she's at. I know her head is on that pillow, and I know she's happy enough, healthy enough. Mm-hmm. She has been fed. She is warm or cool. I know that my daughter is alive and well right now.
Yeah.
The hardest part for me is knowing that I cannot check on her. I will not know. Are you safe? Are you okay? Mentally, are you okay? That's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
Did you take your medication? If you don't take your medication, it has major impacts potentially on your brain activity. I don't, my biggest fear is that mental health will spiral.
Right.
And she won't have the ability to see it when it's coming, and it will hit her like a train. And she's never had heartache. She's never felt what it feels like to be absolutely gutted by another human being. And it will happen. And I don't know her coping skills, her mechanism. She hasn't had enough life experience to go, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
And it scares the shit out of me. Like, for real. I mean, I can't, I'll get emotional, but it's so scary.
Yeah. That's what scares you the most. Love is hard, isn't it?
It is. It's hard to let them go.
It's hard to let them go. And the thing about it is the trust it takes.
Yeah.
And the knowledge that they're going to make these mistakes and that it's going to suck.
And
that
they're
they're
going to
going
hurt.
to suffer. Yeah. They're going to suffer.
I want her to hurt now. Like, please someone break her heart right now in the next month and a half. Please somebody piss her off and make her want to fight him.
Heart.
Please somebody ruin her so I can build her back up.
Yeah, but you can still build her back up.
Yeah.
The thing about your relationship with Avery is that you are in her tooth and bone.
Yeah.
You are all the way in her.
Yeah.
So
she just doesn't know it.
No, she doesn't need to know it. Yeah. You know it.
I do.
You know it. And she will figure it out.
Yeah.
But
it's just the fear. It's weird because I'm a control freak by nature, and she knows that. And she just told me recently, I said, look, I'll be the one. Your father will be the one who is a wreck after you leave. Like, he will be a train wreck. Yeah. I know that.
Yeah.
I'm already, because I will do this now.
Yes.
And when you go, I'll have my moments, but I'll be okay. It's your father. Yeah. And she's worried about him too. But for me, it's just, she's a horrible communicator anyway. So just getting her to understand the critical nature of me needing to know that she's okay. And she doesn't, because she's like her father, she cannot see that that's a need of mine. Mm-hmm. And I need her, and she doesn't like to be touched too much. I just,
here's the hard part. I'm going to disagree with you here a little bit.
Okay.
I love you, but I'm going to disagree.
I love when you love me. Go on. Go on.
I think that's too much responsibility for her.
It is. It is.
She doesn't need to take care of you that way.
I know. And it sucks.
That's hard because Bert's like that, where they should be caring for him. And my perspective is, no, they should not.
Right.
Because there's a beautiful poem that Khalil Gibran wrote about children. And I'm going to freaking bastardize and murder it. But the gist of it is, they are not yours. They are of you. Yeah. But they are children of the universe.
Yeah.
They do not belong to you. They pass through you.
Yeah.
And you are a vessel to get them from this island to that. And you can't own them. You can't possess them. Right. You can't make them your own. Yeah. That's not what your role is. I'm not saying that's what you're doing.
No,
but that's what the poem says. And I've read that poem to Bert 5 fucking million times. And I keep going, our role is to unquestionably always be there. Mm-hmm. But you can't require her to care for you in the way that you need it because you had this little baby. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've talked about this with Georgia so much. You had this little baby that was the first time you've ever felt love like that.
Right.
And it broke his heart the minute they put her in his hands.
Yeah.
His heart broke in that moment. Yep. And the only person who can salve that heart is her.
Yeah.
And that's not fair for her. I'm like, that's too much for her.
It's too much.
Bert is too much for her sometimes. And she shouldn't have to carry him.
It's a burden. Yeah,
she
absolutely.
Shouldn't have to. She should. And I'm talking about Bert now because what you're saying is is not the same as Bert, but it is similar.
Sure. Yeah. It's his, and I can relate to it to the degree of
love him so much. He loves her more than he can even comprehend himself.
And he just needs, if Bert was here right now, I'd be like, hey, be very grateful you have a daughter that loved you back also.
She does.
In the manner at which you need that to a degree.
Yeah.
Because I don't get that.
That's very hard.
And that's been that's the mourning part.
Hard. Yeah.
And once I accepted that.
Yeah.
Our relationship changed.
Yeah.
Because I had to accept, you are not me. You never will be me.
Yeah.
And I've known that for a long time.
And look what it did for your relationship.
It opened it up where she
did.
didn't, because she wouldn't even know that there was any pressure. Like she has no idea. She has no idea.
Yeah, I understand.
It's I think she's more worried about how dad's going to take it and not worried about me because I've always been the tougher one of the two of us.
Well, that and your heart's on your sleeve.
Yeah.
She knows exactly where you stand. Yeah. There's no burden there at all.
No,
because she knows exactly what's going on.
It's about her.
That's a beautiful reciprocity that she doesn't even know she's involved in.
That's true. She knows exactly where my head, what I'm doing. So what I've had to come to terms with, knowing that I have, and I told her, I'm like, listen, your job going to college not only is to keep your head together and make sure because she struggles with the executive function disorder where getting motivated, I'm like, that's where I tell her, I'm like, I got to put boundaries around you because it's not a free for all. You get one semester.
Yeah, totally.
You flunk out or you don't pay attention to it because you either can't handle it. I get that, but we're not gonna foot that. It's not gonna happen. This isn't a luxuries are us.
Totally.
And she's real appreciative of that and gets that. Thank God. Mm-hmm. When rubber meets the road, we'll see. But I did tell her, I was like, I just need you to be willing to text me. And I'll probably need it more than what you're willing and wanting to do. Yeah. But that's so that I can trust that you are making sound decisions that will not have life altering. I'm talking suicide. I'm talking about shit that. Totally.
Now I'm going to rescind what I said a little bit.
Are you?
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because with the 3 lies in 3 sentences that was going on with Georgia.
Yeah.
Bert did such a fantastic job parenting that, which I did not expect. I expected a train wreck.
Really?
Yes.
Like reactive or?
Oh, completely. Yeah. And explosive and rah! That's what I expected. But what he said was, I think I've been too tough on you. I think I've been really difficult as a parent, and that is causing you to lie. So this is my fault. And I apologize. Wow. And here's what we need. We just need to know you're safe.
That's all it is.
We need to know where you are, where you're going, and what you're doing.
Yeah.
And not because we're nosy.
Right.
Not because we're controlling.
Just want to know you're safe.
Just want to know you're safe. Yep. I completely agree with you with that.
Yeah.
We need to touch base.
That's all it is.
We need to just go like this. Yeah. Okay, you're right there. Okay, you're right there.
Because here's the deal.
Right there.
I accepted a long time ago. I'm not going to hear I love you. I'm not going to get the hug that would make me melt.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. I accepted that a long time ago. Like, I'm not going to have that relationship in that kid. I'm not going to have the kid who calls me just to chit chat. It doesn't exist. That's not what she will do. What she'll do and what I will ask of her to do for me is if she can text me a thumbs up and a heart.
Yeah.
It is her father who texts me every day. He has to text me every day. He texts me a sunshine face in the morning.
Yeah.
Because that's his love language, because he doesn't want to speak the words.
Yeah.
He cannot say the words. He can say I love you, but it's a challenge for him.
Yeah.
He can't think, good morning.
Yeah.
Too vulnerable. What did I say wrong? Just as a sunshine face.
Yeah.
And I give it back. And then he'll send me 3 hearts.
Yeah.
Throughout the day.
Yeah.
That is enough for me.
Yeah, that's all you need. Yeah.
That's all I need from her.
Super simple.
That's it. I'm like, you want to go to college? This is my requirement. I just need to know that, do a little emoji of your brain, that my brain is okay.
Yeah.
And my heart is okay. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Because anything else, if I don't get that.
Yeah.
Because
your imagination goes wild.
And I won't be able to sleep.
Yeah. Bert's that way too. If he doesn't know, then he's imagined. He had this one.
Every scenario.
We had this one moment where Georgia asked to go sleep over at a friend's house. and it's a friend we don't know very well. But I know her. I just don't know her parents, and I
Right.
don't know her very well. But she's a nice, really nice girl.
Yeah.
And she wanted to go over late at night, which is really odd. She went 11:30, wanted to go over, and there are like a couple friends already there. They're going to watch some movies. I'm like, it's 11:30 at night. Are you sure her parents are okay with that? And she's like, yeah. Her mom said it was fine. And you're all like, this is just not exactly right.
It's
But
a little strange. Yeah, right. Your little gut instincts going.
but I really felt my gut and went, I think this is legit. So that gut didn't happen for Bert. He came in and he was like, she's fucking a college boy. She's
Oh my
fucking a
God.
college boy. Did you check her Life 360? She's like in an apartment building. What parent lives in an apartment building? And I went,
A lot.
well, I'm at the pickup line quite a bit, and it's not all fancy cars at our school. We have
Yeah.
like a really nice demographic. So who knows? Maybe it's a blue collar, or I mean, I don't know her parents very
Yeah.
well, but maybe her parents are recently divorced or
Right.
something. Nope, she's doing drugs and she's fucking a college boy.
You're like,
I
she's
knew
not
it. And
you.
I was like, I really don't think so. And I think you should maybe just give her the benefit of the doubt and let's ask a few questions before we jump to this. He's pacing like, I'll tell you what's happening. He works at some
He's
like
already got this-
shitty joint, and he gets off work at 11, and she meets him there at 11:30 in this apartment. Who lives in an apartment? And I was like,
Just a dirty, sweaty ball
and
guy.
they just smoke weed all
smoke
night.
weed,
I
they
mean,
have
it
bare
went
feet.
on and on and on.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So I said, please do me a favor. Just let me handle this. I'm going to handle it in front of you.
surprised he didn't. Was he not here?
Let me. No, he was here.
Oh God, and I'm surprised he didn't drive by.
So she walks in the door, and he's like leaning on he's like holding on to the kitchen counter, right, for dear life. And I go, "How's the sleepover?" She was like, "It was good. We watched Moana." I was like, "You did?" She's
Yeah,
like,
they're
"Yeah."
watching a kindergarten movie, right?
And, he's like,
Yeah, Moana. You're blowing Moana.
so exactly, you're blowing Maui. I know it.
Yeah.
So he's like holding on, and I was like, "Oh yeah." She said, "Yeah, Emma's mom. Everybody was waiting for me to get there, and we're just in this phase where we're watching Disney movies. Like we watched Little Mermaid last week, and we watched this. And she went.
And
She
she's
was so very
17.
elaborate that you went. She's telling the truth." And Bert was like, "Well, where does this girl live?" And she goes, "Oh, she lives in an apartment across the street from this park."
He's
and,
like, okay,
and he
that's
goes,
honest.
"Well, why does she live in an apartment?" And she said, "Well, I think her parents just recently got divorced and the mom is a nurse. So I think that they just live in an apartment."
Yeah.
And Bert's whole body was like, oh.
Yeah. He
And-
went to
and
worst case
I was like,
scenario.
awesome, babe. Well, thanks for explaining all that. I appreciate it. And she went to her room, and Bert was like, I'm a fucking piece of garbage. I cannot believe that I thought that about her. I cannot believe that I did that. And I was like, do you see how you made all these assumptions based on nothing?
Well, based on his own fears because of maybe either what he did or, back in
or
the day.
whatever. But I was like, this litany of there's a college boy. I'm like, you're assuming she's straight. What if she? I mean, that's a lot. That's an assumption in and of itself.
Nowadays, for sure.
We have no idea what her sexuality is.
No.
She's never confided in me about it.
Have you
She's
guys ever
never
talked
had-
about it?
No, I've asked her,
Oh, yeah.
are you into boys? Are you into girls? She's like, Mom, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I don't care.
That's what Avery said. For Avery was just like, because I said, look, just tell me. And she went, I think she was 15 or 16. And because all of her friends were girls and never a boy around. And she shouldn't have a brother, like never
Yeah.
around guys
Yeah.
ever, and not comfortable around,
Yeah.
but not awkward, like teenager awkward, because she's never around them.
Yeah.
And she just was like, no, I don't think so. But now it's floating more into like the only people she does communicate are girls. And
Yeah.
and so I told her again, I said, look, I don't care as long
Yeah.
as you're happy.
Totally.
But do me a favor, I go, please don't try to morph into a label because you are fearful that you don't have one.
yeah, exactly.
And I do
Don't- yeah.
believe that is what's
I
happening
believe that
to
is-
where,
yes.
there's so many pronouns, you start going into the land of, well, if you're everything to everybody, then you're really, what are you? Like,
Yes.
Meaning in general, I don't give a shit about someone's pronouns. I'm thinking more of like, it's the standing for something versus falling for everything. It's just,
yeah.
have your spine, have your backbone.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
But you don't know yet. Okay, you can flit and float in the I don't know land for a long time.
Totally.
Or you can know exactly. And I told her flat out. I said the only thing that's hard for me is if you tell me that you're a boy. I probably would have a little bit of a hard time in the beginning of like. I would just want to make sure that you we're very clear on what that really entails or means. Because nowadays there's a lot of children, I think, that don't know and are confused, and it's almost becoming, hurry up, you need to identify yourself. Hurry up, you need to label yourself. And they're going, I was just playing with the doll. And trying to rationalize with a child's brain. And that's not to diminish when children know they know.
Totally.
But there's a level of, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, that pressure.
I can't.
No.
And I told Avery, I said, look, always, I hope. And I've asked her, do you feel like you could tell me anything? She goes, yeah. I'm like, even something you're afraid that would break my heart. She was like, yeah. I'm like, okay. I will always be available. It doesn't mean I'm going to agree with you.
Right.
I may not even like what you're telling me.
Right.
I actually could hate what you're telling me. But I need you to know that I'm a soft place for you to fall. And don't ever worry about the judgment. Yeah. Because I'm going to judge what you're saying no matter what. Because I'm going to have my own. Because you're a human being. I am. Yeah. And I'm going to judge it. I'm going to think differently than you.
Yeah, totally.
I could totally agree with you. I could hate whatever. But don't be afraid of it.
Right.
I didn't raise a pussy.
Well, we have to wrap it up because we have dinner reservations. But tell me what's in this bag.
Oh my gosh. I brought you some yummy, amazing Provide products. So
tell me. But
I'm in
your camera.
Are you? So which camera is what?
That's your camera. So I was in your camera. So tell me what's in there.
Okay, real quick. All right. Husband's like, wrap it up. Sweet orange cream cleanser, which you love because you're a sweet orange cream cleanser kind of gal.
I do like that cleanser, and I was
hope
running
that she put
out.
that dang. I know she did. Please. Oh, she put the regular pump on it for you because she likes to do it in the shower, right? You have your shower.
I do. I'm a shower.
I brought this one for Bert and you, but
I love that thing.
Muscle therapy lotion.
I love it. I use it all the time. I'm almost out.
Okay, perfect. So this is our number one seller, which is the muscle therapy lotion. It is basically like BioFreeze or Bengay or Tiger Balm, but I think even better. So
it's awesome.
It is. Just don't touch your eyes or your genitals.
No.
Because they will catch on fire.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. I also gave you rice flour polish for exfoliating your skin. I knew.
Yep.
And then I have, let's see. I think I got you this. I think Bert would actually like this too. Lifting eye and lip complex because he always is wearing those eye things.
He loves those things.
These are really good. This is good for him to put underneath those collagen eye masks.
I'll tell him that.
And you can use it as well because you mentioned the leather thing. This will help with that because it's got retinol A and hyaluronic acid and stuff. It's really yummy. Let's see. I got you advanced hyaluronic, which is the best moisturizer for our beautiful aging skin, aging well. We just launched this. This is a dry body brush.
What is that?
A dry body brush. It is the best thing to ever do to your skin. You use effleurage, which means you work up towards your heart. And you do this before you get in the shower on your skin.
What?
Work in circular motion. It's a cactus bristles. So it's vegan, meaning there's no animal byproduct. So, but it's cactus bristles. They're pretty hard, but you rub your skin with this before you get in the shower. And then when you're in the shower, if you use a scrub or whatever, it's fine. Or just wash. When you get out and you feel your skin, you're going to be shocked. Like
really?
I get the little baby bumps back here.
Yeah, I do too.
This will clears them. It also helps with cellulite appearance reduction because you're stimulating your skin and the fat cells. And so you just, I use this on my hips and my butt and makes it like butter.
That's amazing.
Bert will love it.
Can I brush fat off?
Yes, with pizza. You didn't know that? We just got these. That's our new emblem that we're going to be morphing our stuff into. That's some of the new.
It's pretty.
It's got the 4 Ps. Provide. We do like our pillars. There's like passion products. I'm forgetting, so I'm not even going to say the rest of them because I forgot.
Pudding.
At the moment. Yeah. Pudding and profanity. Those are our 4 pillars of Provide.
And profanity.
Purpose.
That's fucking awesome.
Purpose. Yeah. And then
my gosh, you got more stuff in there?
Yeah, this is amazing. This is our rose quartz facial roller. So when you use your lifting eye and lip complex on your eyes, or if you use your advanced hyaluronic, this is fantastic. Bert would like this too because it also, if you put it in the refrigerator, you use it on your eyes because he gets swollen under his eyes. And I can tell if he's on camera, he'll use that stuff to help reduce puffiness. So it's the rose quartz roller and you just use it on the skin. It just helps rushes the blood to the top of the skin. It helps stimulate collagen, which is what we all have a problem with because as you get older, the collagen starts to decrease in your skin. I'll put this back later. Last but not least.
Oh my God. There's more?
We have 5 new. We haven't launched these at all of our locations. They're not even available online right now. And these are our essential oil rollers.
I love those things.
Yeah, this is Sleep, which is lavender. The base is jojoba
This one
oil.
will be stolen from me by Isla Kreischer.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh, that smells amazing.
And this is Heart, which is Lang Ylang and Rose.
God, that smells amazing.
Yeah, they're really, really good. And it smells really lovely.
Oh, yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Right.
I'd wear that as a perfume.
Yeah. So just, I always keep them in these just because, rollers tend to leak sometimes if you go on a flight or something. I always am careful with that. But yeah, so these are our new rollers and we have like 5. We have the Sleep, Heart, Focus, Energy, and the other one that I'm not mentioning right now.
Profanity.
Profanity. When in doubt, curse it out. It's another one. It's a slogan. Those are for free, everybody.
When in doubt, curse it out.
That's right. Well, I
thank you for all of
you.
that. I love
Absolutely.
you too.
And I love the cat hair.
You're welcome.
Brought to you by Shirley the girl.
Cheryl the girl.
I'm sad Bert's not here. I can
Me
give him his
too.
little thing, but I know he's in it.
He's
when you told him you were going to be meeting with me, what'd he say? Was he like, I'm going to rush home?
Yeah, he's in Colorado.
I know he is. He has such a great life, man.
Doesn't he?
Doug said, because I watch the live things. I'm like, it's like going home. When I see Bert in his element, or I watch your podcast, I'll go, it's like I get to be closer to them and I can't be close, but I get a little piece of you guys when I get to see that.
I love that. Now, if I could only do it in reverse and watch you in like a meeting, in a Zoom, maybe not throw up on the door.
No throwing up on the door, but you definitely fall asleep sometimes. Like, what are they talking about right now? What spreadsheets?
I'm so glad you come out here regularly.
Yeah.
There was a piece missing in my life because you were gone.
Yeah, I was gone a long time. And I'm just so grateful we were able to reconnect. And it's like we never miss a beat.
Totally.
That's true friendship.
I was going to say the same thing. That's what true friends do.
Yeah.
They never miss a beat.
Yeah. Well, we have to be there for each other because you're going to be an empty nester, a half nester, and I'll be full on empty.
Yep.
And then you will be empty nesting in a big house.
I know.
Me. And
with a lot of dogs and cats.
And all of a sudden Bert comes home and you're like, I got 3 more.
I know, right?
No,
I
I'm
don't
not
know where
having
they
a
came
problem.
from.
There's no problem with the whole I'm leaving the kids on the college.
I'm not lonely. I swear I'm not lonely.
Did Georgia pick her college yet?
Yes.
Where?
I'm not saying it on this, but I'll
Got
tell
it.
you after.
I'd love to know.
She wants to keep that private, and I don't blame her.
I appreciate that. I could see that. I think about them often about how they handle all of this.
It's
it's a lot. They've been around it a long time.
Their age and his fame have hit like their awareness because of their age and his fame kind of coincided.
Yeah.
So he wasn't really famous when he was first talking about them on stage, so it didn't really affect them.
Right.
And even if it did, I don't think they would have understood it.
They were so young too.
Yeah.
Like, they wouldn't know what he was
But
talking about.
now, like we went to look at some colleges and it was impossible.
Oh,
We couldn't even move through the campus. And it was very frustrating for Georgia.
I bet.
And, Bert is never, and I don't blame him, he's never going to say, no, you can't have a picture. I'm with my family.
Of course.
The people who approach him are the people who pay for our house.
He'll always be appreciative for his fans. They took him.
I am
and
as
you are
well.
too.
And I've explained it to the girls, but it's not really unfortunately, when Bert first started talking about them on stage, we didn't really think this through. We didn't really think it through.
Right.
He talked about his kids because they were his world.
Of course.
He adores them.
Yeah.
They mean more to him. We, the 3 of us, mean more to him than anything on the planet.
Yeah.
And I don't think I don't know, he's always a guy who's present.
Yeah.
And so for him to write comedy about something else, I don't know what that would have looked like.
I don't know if he would have the success he's having.
I don't know either. And it's, in some ways you may say it's really unfair that our kids have to live with that burden.
Yeah.
And we didn't really think about it. To be honest with you, on some levels, I don't think we thought Bert would ever be as recognizable as he is.
Sure.
You know, if he had never taken his shirt off on stage, I think he would have been a little less recognizable. If his podcasts hadn't exploded and his voice weren't so recognizable, I think it would have been different. But we had no idea the world of podcasting would be where it is today.
Right.
No idea.
Yeah.
And, you know, hey, I'm not trying to play off as innocent or victim. I'm just saying we didn't really think it through.
How could you?
So,
I mean, you can't predict that kind of stuff, right?
We couldn't really predict it.
Let me tell you something. Doug and I talked about this because he said, what would have happened if I had stayed in LA and decided I'm not going to do music. I'm going to take my chance at doing some kind of comedy or some kind of show. Because I do feel like I wish I would have gone a little harder. Comedy scared me.
Yeah, comedy's fucking terrifying.
It's terrifying. I went on stage a couple times and was like, yeah, I don't know if I can deal with this. At least when I sang, I could see a reaction. I could feel it.
Mm-hmm.
If a song didn't hit flat,
it
didn't fall flat if I was on my game.
Yeah.
But not everyone's going to think I'm funny, you know, and it takes a lot of balls to not care enough about what you look like, what you feel like, what you sound like, to do comedy.
Yeah.
And I think I didn't have the balls to do it. And so I really, really respect and revere people that have the balls to do it. But I tell you what, I worry a little bit about myself because I'm an open book, and it's hard for me to not say everything that I would want to say about Doug and Avery, just because I know Doug is very private.
Yeah.
And Avery doesn't like it either. I don't know if I think I would have I think my marriage and my relation, my daughter would be in jeopardy. They wouldn't respond well.
Right.
Like how Bert talks about you on stage and stuff, Doug would be like, I'm fucking out. Because that's
I
him.
don't give a
He's
shit
so
about
private.
that.
You don't give a shit.
I'm an open book also.
You are.
Even though I'm not like Bert.
Yeah.
Only I know what's true.
Of course.
And the rest of it, my whole caveat is you can talk about me as long as it's not mean.
Right.
It has to be a good joke.
Yeah.
If
Make
it's
it
a
funny.
good joke, I don't care if you talk about me farting on your chin.
Right.
It's fucking hysterical.
Right.
And I'm sorry, it's happened in probably almost every marriage. So it's just something we've all dealt with.
Right.
And it's one of those things. So what am I going to, it was a good joke.
Yeah.
You know, so when people say, I can't believe you let him talk about, but it's a good joke. So then it's worth it. It's not
Well, you're
me,
also a
it's not-
writer too. So
I am.
know.
So I get off on these good jokes.
Of course.
It really does.
It's not personal to you. You're like, that's fucking funny.
It's a good joke. And so nobody knows what's real and what's not. But,
right. Thank God he has that in you.
Well, he
imagine
does.
if
I'm
he
not
was like
sure
Doug.
he has it in his kids.
Well, yeah. That's a little harder.
Entirely.
That's
but,
harder.
you know, they've never seen his stand-up. They don't want to see it.
They shouldn't probably.
They don't want to see it.
Because if he's talking about them, they're going to get upset, especially teenagers. I can't. That's why Avery doesn't listen. If she knows that I go on this, I say, I do talk about you.
Yeah.
And I hope you're okay with that. I just need to make sure. What time's our thing?
We got to go. It's in 15 minutes.
Oh, no.
I know, it made 6:30.
Oh, my
I was like,
goodness.
we'll be done by 5:30.
Oh, you know better. We are 3-hour go
I
time
know,
girls.
right? Totally.
Hopefully everyone enjoys
3
the
and 15.
lengthy, very lengthy conversations, but it's
know.
like we never miss a beat. So
I know. Well, I love you so much.
I love you too.
Thank you for the whole day.
Listen, I can't wait. Dinner time and cocktails without that. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, baby.